It's thebarlive.com, PMS for a Wednesday afternoon. That's the Pugs Moran Show. Hi, that's me. Give me a little bit more in my headphones. Like a little bit more there, Jimmy Ryan. All right, that's perfect. Jimmy Ryan is tweaking the knobs today. No Sam. What's the matter? You upset that I'm always right?
I think that may have been what it was.
You got persnickety with me yesterday. Of course I'm going to be always right. It's my show. I mean, that's... I don't think I'm... Yesterday, we were talking about whether or not Gene Simmons of KISS was A-list. And I know that Sam loves Gene, and that's fine. A lot of people do. I just have a higher criteria for my A-list. I have people like Angelina Jolie, Bono, Sting...
People that I know.
Yeah, you know, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You know, those are the guys who have been around for years and years. They've stood the test of time. Gene Simmons has to a lesser degree, which is why I would say any member of KISS would be B-list. Solid B-list, but not A-list. He's not Bono.
Yeah, he's not getting primetime gigs all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
He's not Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You know, he's not Kanye. He was at one point in 1977, 78, 79, 80 back then.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, and Sam got a little bit upset with me as Sam is wont to do from time to time.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy it. I mean, I think that's good when you get a reaction out of Sam.
Yeah.
I just felt bad. All right, 3 things here right at the top of the show that we like to get to. We discuss 3 things that I don't want to forget about because I tend to leave a lot on the table, and on the ride home I go, oh, I didn't talk about this. So we do it here at the top. First thing I want to mention here is, have you been to Google today?
Yes.
I love Google.
I do too.
Why isn't this playing? How come we're not hearing it off my computer? There.
Oh.
Okay, you go to Google, and here's what you get. You get like a little keyboard where it used to say Google. I mean, have people actually tried this? See, now every time Google puts up like a different like vanity icon or whatever you want to call that, I will always now start clicking on it all over because sometimes it does stuff.
Yeah.
Like the keyboard plays. But more than just playing the keyboard, there's a recording device next to it. You can actually record whatever you compose on the Google homepage today.
And then share it with your friends as well.
Oh, you can share. Oh, yeah, I see that. Google Plus.
Yeah, so you...
For your friends that are on Google Plus.
Yeah. Or you can have the URL. You can take the URL. Yeah.
Okay. So, this is just when you go to Google and you just start playing around on a keyboard. It is because today is the 78th birthday of Robert Moog, the inventor of the Moog synthesizer. 78 years ago today, the man who would invent, the instrument that would turn music on its ear. Mm-hmm. There would be no Depeche Mode without keyboards. There would be no god-awful Van Halen era where Eddie Van Halen decided that he was going to put down the guitar and pick up the keyboard. That was awful. That is when Van Halen started to go down.
Yeah.
It'd be like if a really funny comedian decided, like the greatest comedian, like what if Louis C.K. or Doug Stanhope or whoever the great comedians of today are, what if they just decided, you know what, I've nailed this comedy thing. I'm going to still go to clubs and get up on stage, but I'm just going to lecture about world poverty now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was like. Eddie, pick up the guitar, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. Or I'm going to bring a puppet.
Yeah. I'm going to do a puppet show or a lecture series on, the economic decline of the Greek economy. That's what I'm going to do now. I know you think you're getting Doug Stanhope. That's what it was when Eddie Van Halen picked up the damn keyboard.
But it's important, you guys.
Yeah, you got to listen to me. Eddie Van Halen, I don't care that you were bored because you had mastered the guitar. Nobody wants to hear Van Halen with keyboards. If I want Depeche Mode, I'd have listened to Depeche Mode. I want rockin' guitars. All right, so.
You know what's actually already made me upset about this Google thing, though?
Go ahead, I'm just going to keep hitting this throughout the day.
I've already seen people share songs that sound damn good from this Google thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard any of that. I wonder if there's a way to find that. Maybe we could play some
Yeah.
of it.
I bet you I can find them.
Because I can play a little bit of piano. Like, I can tinker around on a piano, and I can, like, by ear, I can come up with a song if I need to.
Uh-huh.
But this is so weird because it's not actually a piano. You're not sitting there using your fingers. You're clicking. You're pointing and clicking. So it's a little bit harder to get, a song out of this.
You can go in there and, like, kind of retune the keys, though, on the top there.
What?
Yeah,
Huh?
the pitches and, like, all types of different things you can do with it.
Get out of here. So we're talking about the Google icon today. It's for Robert Moog's 78th birthday. Robert Moog, the creator of the synthesizer. Hold on. See, because I was trying to switch everything. There's like mixer and oscillators. You can change the tone.
Yeah. So you can go in there and make it oscillate a little different.
Hold on. I'm playing with the oscillator. See if we can get a different sound. I don't hear anything different. Yeah.
I noticed if I held it longer, made a different sound. Yeah.
Anybody hearing that? I think we're getting some interference. Do we have a... That's an awful sound. I just... All right, folks, this is what today's show is going to be. Me tinkering around on the Robert Moog Google keyboard that's up there on Google. All right, number 2 of my 3 things for today that I wanted to talk about. I saw a movie last night.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it before. I've got a friend who lives in the building that I live in who... I don't know what his business is, but he's always asking me if I want to see movies. He's always got movies on DVD, like movies that, and they're not from Redbox. They're just like, he burned them himself. So, I can't afford to go to the movies anymore. Movies are expensive, and I don't think I'm allowed to pay-per-view anything anymore.
Sounds like a good neighbor to have.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. And he's also got a little kid, so our kids play together and stuff. So that's really how we got to know each other at the pool. But he gave me this movie last night, and he said, I got a couple of movies. And he had there were a couple of choices. I don't remember what the choices were, but one of them was a movie called Chronicle. Have you ever heard of this movie, Chronicle?
Nuh-uh.
Me neither. But he explained to me what it was, and I thought, all right, I'll take a look at that. So then I go online, right, and I pull up the trailer on YouTube for the movie Chronicle. And I watch it, and I'm like, all right, I can watch this. Now, I was talking about the show Heroes, right? About how I like the show Heroes.
Till the second season, right?
Till the second season. It was awful in the second season. It was fantastic in the first season. Chronicles is kind of like Heroes. It's about 3 guys, 3 high school students, 3 high school seniors who go to a rave party in a barn somewhere. And they're out messing around behind the barn. They're all messed up. And they find this hole in the ground, this like weird hole in the ground. So they go down there, and inside the hole is like some glowing crystal object or something weird, something otherworldly, something paranormal is down there. And when they come out, they have to run from the hole because their noses all start bleeding. They're all like, hemorrhaging blood from all over in their body, and their noses are bleeding. So they all scramble out of there. Oh, and the interesting thing about Chronicle is that it is all shot kind of like the Blair Witch, in that it's all done on Handycam. This is supposed to be a chronicle of these 3 guys and what they do. The one kid is like making a video chronicle of his day-to-day life at school. So it's choppy.
So is it kind of reality looking? Is it kind of like that kind of Blair Witchy?
Well, it's not a very well-made movie. So there are times when everything is like through a Handycam, and then there are scenes that needed to be done to advance the plot, so you couldn't use the Handycam method. So it was just a camera. Okay, now we're just back in a movie.
Okay.
Now it's a movie. Now it's all home video. Now it's a movie. So it's a little strange like that. But basically the premise was with these kids, they come out of this hole, and it turns out that they have these really super kick-ass powers now. Like heroes, like superhero powers. They can fly, they can levitate things, they have telekinetic powers. And so they do what 3 high school kids would do. They start having fun with these powers. There's a scene where they're sitting in a parking lot at a shopping mall, and a woman drives up in her BMW, and she parks, and she gets out, and she goes to walk into the mall. And the one kid is looking at the car, and he just moves the car with his fingers by doing it like he doesn't touch the car. He's like 100 yards away, but he stares at the car, and he does his little thing with his fingers, and he moves the car across the parking lot to another parking spot. And then, of course, the woman comes out, and they're like, she can't find the car, that whole thing. So they're having that kind of fun with it.
It always starts out so innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they're driving down the road, right? And there's some hillbilly in a pickup truck, and he's like tailgating them really hard. and he's hitting his horn. His horn's going. It's all. That's not a very good horn, but imagine that's a horn. He's
on a Nintendo video game.
Yeah, he's hammering the horn at him, and they're like, "What's this guy's problem? What's this guy's problem?" And the one kid in the back seat turns and looks at the car, and if you're watching on camera, he just kind of goes like this, like that with his hand. And the car veers off the road and goes over a cliff and into a lake.
Wow.
So they slam on the brakes. They're all freaked. What did you do? What did you do, man? We can't do that. You can't use these powers in anger. That whole thing and all that. And so it just gets progressively worse and worse as one of them turns into sort of a bad guy. He starts going crazy. His dad's a drunk. His mom's dying of cancer. Health insurance won't pay for her pain pills, so he decides he's going to go out and rob liquor stores with these powers to be able to get the money to buy the pain pills. That goes horribly wrong. He gets shot. He's in the hospital. He blows up. It's a good movie. Chronicle. I enjoyed it. A lot of holes. Come on. You're not watching. This isn't Citizen Kane, okay? So don't get all whacked out by... Well, how come how come they're using a movie camera? How come this looks like a movie? How come that looks like video? Just stop it. Just go with it. It's a fantasy. It was actually pretty good. I actually kind of enjoyed it. So Chronicle. I can suggest that if you're looking for a good 90-minute time waster, a movie that's fun. See, I guess you got to like this. See, I like anything where normal people suddenly discover they can do things.
Now, are we sure that this is like a feature film, or did your neighbor actually create this movie and give it to you?
No, it's a feature film. The trailer's on YouTube, and there's some actors that are actually known.
Right.
It's not like somebody shot at the park. It wasn't like that.
I was just wondering if we're telling people about movies that they need to go to a certain block to go find.
Nah, but I went with that one over another movie called Darkest Hour. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
All right, now Darkest Hour I knew about a year ago. And I chose not to watch it. I don't know why I went with Chronicle. I watched Darkest Hour tonight. Whatever. Darkest Hour sent out a trailer, about a teaser trailer about a year or so ago, and it was awesome. I mean, it went viral because it looked so cool and so bizarre. Darkest Hour is about a bunch of Americans who are partying in Russia when aliens invade the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the aliens are getting all this energy. They're here for our energy, our light bulbs, and our electricity, and all this. Apparently, they can get here, but they can't make electricity on their own planet. I don't know. That's kind of a flaw. But that one, Darkest Hour, I watched that one. But I chose Chronicle over that.
That I'm actually really excited about, because if there's one place that I want to hear about their take on an alien takeover, it's Russia.
See how they can handle it?
Yeah, because if there's one country that's going to really take a fair swing at things against the aliens coming in,
it'll be Russia.
Yeah, Russia will.
So?
Yeah, they're gonna be the ones doing the craziest stuff.
Well, all right. So those are the two movies. I'll watch Darkest Hour tonight. I'll let you know about that. But Chronicle, look, man, I thought Chronicle was all right. I thought it was good. I don't know why I'm saying this. You know why? Because I'm insecure that people who I respect and like films will go, that movie was stupid. No, it wasn't stupid. It was entertaining. It was exactly what movies are supposed to be. You got to see a bunch of high school kids moving cars around and blowing up buildings and making helicopters fly out of the sky. It's a cool movie. I wish I had those powers. Because we were talking about superhero powers and about how being Aquaman would be the worst.
Right.
It's like,
come at me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm in the water.
I'm standing waist deep in the water. Come get. Yeah, it's like. But this would be cool. These powers that these kids had would be cool to be able to move things and stuff. Well, for instance, here's one of the first scenes. They were in the backyard and they were testing out their powers. And they were standing 20 feet away from each other, and they were just whipping fastballs at each other's heads. and they get knocked out, and they get up, and they go, "Oh, I'm okay." And then they do it, they whip it back at them. So that they realized that. Oh, and then they were in a diner, and the kid said, "All right, on the count of 3, I'm gonna take this fork and I'm gonna stab it in your hand." He's like, "All right." He goes, 1, and he stabs it right in his hand, and the fork all breaks and bends. That's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Chronicle. I don't care if my credibility has been mortgaged now. I like movies, and that was a pretty good movie.
You know what I like about the storyline in that is that I have a lot of, I don't know how they've become this, but they're crazed conspiracy theory friends, right? Mm-hmm. And they believe that the government has things like anti-gravity and things all types of crazy things, right? This movie very quickly will tell you that if anybody has those powers, you'd be seeing pieces of it here and there. You'd see things that don't make sense going on.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, one of the things that they did that I thought was interesting that I would do if I had these powers and I needed to keep them quiet, they won their high school talent contest. by putting on the most kick-ass magic show anyone's ever seen. I mean, they're levitating on stage. And, it was cool. And the kids are going nuts. How did you do that? It's magic. It's like, I can't tell you how I do it. Yeah. But it was cool. And I was thinking, you know what? That would be it. That is what I would do. Yep. I would go to Vegas. And I would be like the greatest magician ever. I would make the entire audience levitate. That would be a good act.
Oh, man. Yeah. Just tell Penn he needs to get off the stage now.
Yeah, there are no other magicians anymore. Yeah. I'm the guy.
Yeah.
None of you can do this. I just show. And you know what? Here's the thing. We don't practice. We don't stage. I show up. I get on stage. I make the entire audience levitate. I get my check. I go home. And in Vegas, that check would be like $20 million a week.
Oh, man, seriously. Yeah. Very nice.
But I'd always play it like it was magic, so there wouldn't be like this crazy interest over me, like the news wouldn't be reporting on it because they would just assume it's some really innovative magic trick. But really, I would just be the magic. I am magic.
You could be like the David Copperfield of that, where it's an illusion. I just can't really go into it.
And I'd be like a real jerk to all those other guys. Like all the other magicians. I'd be like a total jerk. Like anything they would do, I would do 100 times better like that.
Oh, you haven't figured out the levitating audience trick?
Yeah. Yeah. Work on it. They'd go nuts. They'd go nuts trying to reverse engineer whatever my trick was. How do they make the audience? I was in the audience. I was actually levitating. Stuff like that. Yeah. How did he do that? It's magic. He's the greatest of all time. The great Pugs Moran. That's what I would do. And I would be at a casino in Vegas, and I would be the biggest show in Vegas.
And if it ever happens, I will keep your secret.
Well, it ain't going to happen. But yeah, you're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, I'd cut you in.
Okay.
Cut you in.
Well, even better.
Because you would know my secret. So I'd have to cut you in.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't even have to do anything. And I'd still give you, like, if I made $20 million a week, I'd give you $5 million a week.
Oh, well, see, I wasn't even going to go down that road, but like now I'm going to hold you to it.
What am I going to do? I'm a good dude. I'm a good dude. You got my secret. You hold my entire, Okay. Although, I could take the position, yeah, you go ahead. You tell everybody I'm magic. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Forget that $5. You know what? No. Forget the $5 million, Jimmy. Screw you. You go ahead. You out me.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell the world that I've got superpowers. See where that gets you.
Yeah.
All right, story 3 that I wanted to talk about here today. Did you watch Saturday Night Live, SNL?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Did you happen to see it on Saturday?
I don't think so.
It's being hailed by many, many people as the single greatest episode of Saturday Night Live ever.
Oh, wow.
I don't know about that. I mean, pound for pound, the bits... Here's what I will say. It was by far the best episode of the season, and it was by far the best episode that I've seen in a very long time. I'll lay it down for you. Mick Jagger was the host, and Mick Jagger appeared in every sketch. I mean, he was absolutely fearless. I mean, he did every. I mean, he was very, very good. And Mick Jagger was the musical guest.
Jesus.
Which was cool because it wasn't just Mick Jagger as the musical guest. It was Mick Jagger singing lead vocals for another very established band. So it was Mick Jagger and Arcade Fire for the first round, where Arcade Fire and Mick was singing. Oh, and he did Rolling Stone songs he did cool Rolling Stone songs from like the 60s. Like, I forgot what he did with Arcade Fire, but the second song that he performed with was Mick Jagger and the Foo Fighters. And he performed 19th Nervous Breakdown with the Foo Fighters. And it was like the coolest version of that. It was the most rocked out Foo Fighter version of 19th Nervous Breakdown, and with Mick Jagger singing it. I mean, it was awesome. It was, I will say, the greatest musical guest in the history of Saturday Night Live. It was just for pure historic reasons. It was so cool to see like Dave Grohl and Mick Jagger, and it was very, very cool. But in addition to that, it was Kristen Wiig's final show on Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. She's leaving. She's leaving because now she's a big movie star, and she's going to go off and reinvent the comedy wheel. She's going to be fantastic. Whatever she ends up doing, she is going to be amazing. But they allowed her to do something, or they didn't allow her to do something. I'm sorry, I should say she did something they did something for her at the end of the show, which I had never seen before under any... cast members have left Saturday Night Live in the past. I mean, big cast members have left. But I have never seen them do this. They took the final 5 minutes of the show, And basically, they did like a graduation scene where all the cast members were sitting there on the bleachers and they had their little cap and gowns on. And Mick Jagger came out and he said, "Today we'd like to honor a very special graduate from whatever they said it was. Kristen, will you come on up here?" And Kristen Wiig came up, stood next to Mick Jagger. And he said, "Because you've meant so much to us, we've created this song for you, and we'd like to perform this number." And so he sort of steps back, and it was Arcade Fire was the band that was playing the music. And they started to play a song, and she rips off her cap and gown to reveal a nice party dress or whatever. And then one by one, each member of her cast came up to her, and they did a little dance, like for a couple of seconds. And then the cast member would walk away and go sit down. And then at the end, the final one was Lorne Michaels. He came out. And it was very nice. It was very emotional. She was crying, and other people were crying. She was trying to remain, funny like Kristen Wiig, but you could tell she was very emotionally choked up by this.
Right.
Because there were certain people like the Bill Haders and the Jason Sudeikis and the Fred Armistons, people that she has worked with for years on that show, and they've done some really great sketches together. But the interesting thing was, and I put this up on the Facebook page if you want to go look for it. Actually, I know it's on my John Pugs Facebook page. I'm not sure if it's on the Bar Live. Jason Sudeikis was devastated. Jason Sudeikis, if you watch the video, and the video's out there, you can find it. Jason Sudeikis is the only one that doesn't dance with her. He just walks up to her and they embrace and they just hug each other for 20 seconds or whatever. They're swaying back and forth. But he's the only one that didn't do. Everybody else did a silly dance with her or something. And then when he was done, he peeled off and he went and he stood next to the rest of the cast in the background behind her. And you should have seen him. He was working his collar. He was rubbing his eyes. He was rolling his head. He was getting all choked up. Everybody else was sort of caught up in the moment too.
Right.
But he was devastated. And then at the end, when the song came to its big finish, everybody came on stage. Amy Poehler, people from past shows came on stage. Other bands were up on stage. It was completely packed on stage. And what you saw, if you watch the video, do not take your eyes off of Jason Sudeikis. You see him one row at a time slink back to the very back row where he looks very uncomfortable. I mean, everybody else is hugging her and standing next to her and waving bye-bye to the camera and all that. Jason Sudeikis slinks all the way back to the back row, and then at the very moment that the credits start to roll, where everyone else is still on stage singing, you see Jason Sudeikis just briskly walk off stage left. He had some kind of a meltdown. People are saying that it might be his last show as well, and that he just hasn't told Lorne Michaels. So I think he was experiencing that whole thing, that this was probably his last show as well. But it was compelling to watch. If you get a chance to see the YouTube video, the whole thing is nice. I mean, it's really sweet and what they're doing for Kristen and all that. It's beautiful. But watch Jason Sudeikis. Watch it a second time and just focus on Jason Sudeikis. It's compelling. This guy's really having a hard time with it.
Are they going on break now for a little while, or what's the deal
Yeah,
there?
it's done. It's done for the season. They come back next year. And that brings me to my point here, my third of three things.
An election year, and they're not going to...
Well, they'll be back in September, or they're done for the summer.
Okay.
Lorne Michaels says he hasn't had to bid goodbye to anyone in the current Saturday Night Live cast except for Kristen Wiig so far. But in an interview with The Wrap on Monday, Lorne Michaels was non-committal about who's staying and going. The show often waits until late summer to make such decisions. Wiig left the show with a tearful sketch Saturday in which she hugged her classmates goodbye. Her castmates, I'm sorry. In which she hugged her castmates goodbye. Although many have speculated that Andy Samberg and Jason Sudeikis would also leave after the season, neither received a similar goodbye. The Wrap spoke to Michaels at the Peabody Awards on Monday, where he was honored for executive producing the IFC comedy series Portlandia, which was created and co-stars Carrie Brownstein and SNL veteran Fred Armisen. That's a show I'm telling you got to watch. Just want a Peabody. You know, Peabodys are for the best in television, like stuff that maybe people aren't watching, but the critics all agree this is the best. Battlestar Galactica multiple Peabody winner.
Oh yeah.
That out. Oh yeah.
I do have that now. I just need to get going on the first episode.
Gotta watch it. Gotta watch it. Episode 1 will blow your mind.
Really?
Episode 1 will blow. It's so cool the way it all starts.
Nice.
All right. Let's see here. We noted the lack of an SNL send-off for anyone but Wiig. Not so far, says Michaels. Did the lack of a goodbye mean Sudeikis and Samberg are staying? Lorne Michaels says, you never know. I think everyone gets through the season and just the level of fatigue by the end of it is so overwhelming, and it's a very emotional time. I've had a rule since the second season, which is to not make any decisions in June. We'll see, and we'll address all these issues in July. Some have speculated that Alain Sandberg's Lazy Sunday 2, the digital short on Saturday, suggested that he too was on the way out. Lazy Sunday was his breakthrough sketch on the show back in 2005. Saturday's sequel ended with the lines, "On these New York streets, I honed my fake rap penmanship. That's how it began, and that's how I'm gonna finish it." I saw that too. I thought Andy Samberg was leaving. So when his final digital short was Lazy Sunday 2, I went, oh, perfect bookends. It started with Lazy Sunday. Now the last digital short he's going to do is Lazy Sunday. And there were other lines in that made you think that this was the last one, So one cast member with no immediate plans to exit is Fred Armisen. He says he hopes to continue with both SNL and Portlandia, as he has done for the last 2 seasons. "I hope things keep going," he said. "I don't take any of this for granted." Armisen, who's been on SNL for a decade, said he isn't worried about burning out. "I want to burn out," he jokes. "I want it to kill me." I agree with that. I agree with that burnout. Like, you're doing some. If this is what you love to do, there is no such thing as burnout.
Yeah, and I mean, like, how many times have you seen these people from SNL go off to do a movie career? They get 1 movie, maybe 2,
fizzles,
and then it's done.
Yeah,
and then they come back on SNL, and it's really nice to have them back. But it's like, dude, you really should not have done that.
The vast majority of the people who are SNL cast members don't do much after SNL. They really don't. Now there are the exceptions. There are the cream of the crop who go on to be the Eddie Murphys and the Dan Aykroyds and the Chevy Chases and the Bill Murrays and all of that. But it's very few. Mike Myers is another one. But I mean, there are a lot of Victoria Jacksons out there. Do you know who she is?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. there are a lot of Anna Gasteyers out there. People like that.
And you can't even.
Although Anna Gasteyer's on that new show Suburbia, and I love her on that. So maybe that's not fair to say.
Yeah, maybe not yet. So one of the things that I would imagine would be really easy to fall victim to, though, is just being like, you know what, I'm so funny, I'll be able to actually pull off movies. Chris Rock. I mean, Chris Rock came out of there. You would think that he would have had amazing movies.
Chris Rock was the opposite. Chris Rock is an interesting study in this because Chris Rock was nothing on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, is that right?
Nothing. He had one character that was semi a hit, and that was Nate X, the militant black talk show host. But Chris Rock left because he felt he was being stifled. And it was only after he left Saturday Night Live. The thing that made Chris Rock was his HBO stand-up special, the Bring the Pain.
Yeah.
And that's what made Chris Rock. That's what made people go, wow, this is one of the greatest stand-up comics that we have. But he really didn't do anything on Saturday Night Live. He was like a second, third tier cast member.
Wow.
Which, for people who were familiar with the little stand-up that he had done, like me, I was a big Chris Rock fan. I was like, you gotta let him do more. He's funny. And they didn't. There just wasn't much material for him on Saturday Night Live when he was there. But he went on to do great things. All right, there you have it. So we don't know who's leaving Saturday Night Live other than Kristen Wiig. They have said that there will be new cast members, though, next year. So that'll be interesting to see them. They always find the best and the brightest. They really do. All right, that's it. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Wednesday afternoon on thebarlive.com. right, it is thebarlive.com PMS for a Wednesday afternoon, noon to 2. We are heard here at thebarlive.com. Coming up today, we've got our douche tournament, we've got our watch list, look, hey, we're gonna preview the coming race war. I think this is gonna be something we're gonna do every day, Jimmy. I'm going to give you an example, a preview of the coming race war. I don't know when the race war is coming, but if you read comment sections on news stories that involve black people, the race war is coming. And so I've got another example of that. We'll get into that. Also, this is sort of around the same thing. There is a local pizza chain that is giving away free pizza if you order in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into this.
I did see you posted about this. Now, this is somewhere that it's local, isn't it?
It is local, yeah.
Okay.
It concerns the Pizza Patron chain, which I am unfamiliar with. I've never had it. But then again, I don't eat much pizza here in Texas because it all sucks.
It does.
It all sucks.
Especially
except for
Pizza
Louis.
Patron.
Does it really?
Yeah. I mean, when you think pizza, do you think I need to cross the border for a good pie?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Then you don't think Pizza Patron is the place to be. But that's a big chain around here.
It is, yeah. I've seen them. I've just never had it because I know that it sucks. Or I'm pretty sure that it sucks.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody comes to me and says, dude, what about Jimmy John's? I go, are you kidding me? Jimmy John's sucks. Have you ever had good thin crust pizza? And you're telling me about Jimmy John's? Look, all I know is pizza and Domino's makes the best. I've heard people say that. I'm like, dude, you got to go to New York. You got to go to Chicago. You got to go to places that really know how to make pizza, and they've made it a cornerstone of their diet. There are no chains. It's all mom and pop. Every strip mall in Chicago and New York City has a mom and pop pizza place that makes a pizza that would blow your mind. Because it's from scratch, and it's their homemade recipe, and they all taste different. And they all have, whether it's sweet sauce or spicy sauce or hot pepper or sweet pepper. I mean,
It's something that is so good and so different that you really can't explain it. And I've talked to a lot of people because whenever I go to visit my uncle, he'll always bring me to the best places he's been to since. And you talk to the people there, and they're like, I don't know, maybe it's the water. All of them say that it's the yes because for some reason it's just different there.
That is what they say that is what everybody who's come down here and tried to open a Chicago-style pizza place says. They say it's the water. And there's something to do with the way that the water in Chicago makes the dough rise a certain way. And it just doesn't work. But that's not the only difference.
Oh, no, not at all.
The taste is different. The spices, there's not enough Italian ethnic types here that mix up these crazy Italian spices to make the sauces pop and make the sausages pop. All right, so we'll get into that. But first, I want to talk about the Olympics. We got the Olympics coming up here in a couple of weeks. London, the big London Olympics.
Wow, a couple weeks? Wow, that came pretty quick.
Yeah, and are you a big fan of the Olympics?
Well, I can't say that 2 years ago I was looking forward to it to this day, but once it actually comes around and I know that it's on, I'll pop it on.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
These are all the ridiculous sports that these people cannot earn livings at doing it professionally.
Right.
That's all it is.
You can't sell tickets to these sports unless it's the Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, you're really fast at running. Can you play right field too? It's like you got to be able to do multiple things in order to make a living. So I don't really, there are no sports in the Olympics that I'm really big on. I do love watching the dashes, the 100 meters, and I love that. That's exciting. That's a human horse race. That's all that is.
Right.
That's just human beings playing the role of horses at the Kentucky Derby, and you just pick one and you watch it. It's dramatic. I love those kinds of things. Gymnastics can sometimes get dramatic, but I can't pretend like I understand the intricacies of gymnastics, so I'm really not as into it as I would say a really good MMA fight or a really good football game.
Yeah, bit creepy sometimes watching the gymnastics if a friend comes over too. I mean, it could just be a little bit awkward.
What's creepy about it?
Well, they're usually 13 years old, you know?
No, they're not. They're usually 19 or 20, but they
really?
look 13.
Is that what it is?
No, sometimes they are young.
Oh, okay. I just remember last time that there were the Summer Olympics. I had it on, and I was just basically browsing the internet, and my friend comes over, and for some reason it just felt a bit awkward. He was like, "What are you watching?" Yeah.
I like to watch ice hockey in the Winter Olympics because that started in 1980 with the Miracle on Ice. I remember sitting watching that. So I've always had this passing interest in ice hockey in the Winter Olympics. But, I watch it. It's a spectacle. It's the sport. The competition is secondary. It's just such a big world spectacle, and the media treats it as such a big deal, and their coverage is so in-depth and all-encompassing that you get caught up in it. NBC, who has the Olympics here in America, has had it for years and won't have it for a number of years in the future. I think they just paid like $100 trillion for the exclusive rights to broadcast the Olympics in America. They do a magnificent job. They really do. They'll show you a race, like a big race that's coming up, but before the race, they'll spend 10 minutes introducing you to the main competitors. And they do like little bio pieces, and they go to their hometowns, and you get to see like if they have ever faced any adversity in their life, you will see it there. And it makes you emotionally tied to these people to want to root for them. So NBC does a really good job of packaging the Olympics so that it is palpable for the non-sports fan. They create storylines. They do great. So bravo to them. And I will watch it for that reason. I will not be waking up at 3 a.m. to watch soccer.
No.
I will not. I will not be waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the pole vault. I don't care about these. What kind of skills are these exactly?
I don't know, but like the thing that I do love most about the Olympics is that we don't give a damn about the pole vault unless we're number one.
That's right. We don't care about nothing unless we're number one.
If we're number one, we're going to hear all about the pole vault. That's going to be the number one headline in all of our newspapers is about how great we are at pole vaulting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and God forbid our pole vaulter look like Tom Cruise. God forbid. Guy will be all over everything for the next year.
Yeah.
And I have a passing interest in Michael Phelps. I want to see it because he was so freakishly dominant that it'll be interesting to see after all the weed he smoked in the last couple of years if he can still be dominant. Pretty sure he can. I'm telling you, the dude smokes weed because his muscles are worked to the bone every single day he's in the pool. It's the only way to chill without putting some kind of chemical, some kind of some synthetically created pill, muscle relaxer. The guy smokes a little weed. Leave him alone.
Also, there was he
smokes a little weed, and he's the greatest Olympic athlete in American history.
Right.
How's that?
Yeah.
Tell me about how weed is somehow a negative to the system. The greatest Olympic athlete in history is a weed smoker.
Yeah. It actually, there was a study that says that you get higher lung capacity based on the way that most people do smoke marijuana because they take really deep.
So he probably gets really stoned.
Well, yeah,
he's
that
got
as well.
Them swimmer's lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, I wanted to tell you about an interesting female athlete. She's an American, she's like a sprinter, hurdler. Oh, hurdler. Her name is Lola Jones. Have you heard about her?
No.
Lolo Jones is her name.
Lolo Jones?
Lolo Jones. Lolo Jones. Shockingly, not a black girl. Wouldn't you think that would be it's a black girl's name.
I was running that over, and like I was thinking Lola, that's a kind of, I've always thought of like Lolas as being easy white girls.
Jimmy, I've got a girl I want to set you up with. She's really cool. She's an Olympic hurdler, and her name is Lolo Jones.
Lolo Jones?
What are you picturing? You're picturing a black girl, right?
I was actually picturing a black man, but
yeah, okay, yeah. But no, this is a white girl.
Okay.
And the reason her story is so interesting is because she is 30 years old. Okay. Oh, man, hold on. Because she is 30 years old, and Jimmy, she's a virgin. She is a 30-year-old virgin.
The opposite of a Lola Jones. Because those girls are usually pretty easy.
Oh, that's right. Well, that sounds like a porn star name.
Yeah.
Well, there's BB Jones, the porn star.
Yeah.
No, this is Lolo Jones. She is a 30-year-old virgin. Here, I'll just give you a little. If you thought the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat had a fight last night, then you should have turned into HBO's Real Sports Tuesday. Olympic hurdler Lolo Jones bared it all during an interview with Real Sports reporter Mary Carrillo. Lolo Jones talked about her virginity and acknowledged that it had been the most challenging fight of her life. I want to wait until I'm married to have sex, Lolo Jones said. My mom, she was with my dad for 20 years, and they never got married, and they're not together anymore. So I just want to have that solemn bond. I want it to be a gift. I want to give it to my husband. Jones added, but please understand this journey has been hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Harder than training for the Olympics. Harder than graduate for... yeah, her boyfriends thought it was pretty hard too.
Yeah, and looking at her, that would be very hard.
You think she's hot?
She's cute.
That's the thing. She is kind of cute.
Yeah.
Kind of cute.
And she's...
Come over here and look at this body. I don't know what picture you're looking at. Come over here and look at her body, though. That's not a sexy body.
Yeah.
That is a buffed, muscled up, no boobs, typical, athletic girl, no boobs, broad shoulders, big biceps, huge hammies and calves. I mean, those legs are like Earl Campbell's legs.
Yeah, most of these pictures are the ones that you get in the magazine. Like, because I'm looking at the Google images.
Yeah.
And there, it looks
they
man.
cleaned her up.
That must be very difficult. But you showed me that one. And that one I can actually understand how it might actually be hard for her to.
I want you to hear in her own words, okay? This is her speaking to Mary Carrillo on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. This is Olympic hurdler Lolo Jones talking about being a 30-year-old virgin. Here, we'll give this a listen. See, again, this is last night. You can catch it on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Here it is.
Lolo, you've told the Twitter sphere that you're a virgin.
Yeah. Hands were shaking when I did that.
What made you say that? Why do you want people to know that?
I mean, I just don't believe in it. I just, I want to wait till I'm married to have sex. My mom, she was with my dad for 20 years. They never got married, and they're not together anymore. So I just want that.
All right. I don't get that. She has said that a couple of times. My mom and dad were together 20 years, but they were never married. I don't want that.
Yeah, they should have never had sex, your mom and dad.
I don't. So what is she saying? That had they been married, they'd still be together? I mean, that's a bit naive.
Yeah.
This girl is in for some trouble. When most marriages end in divorce. The majority of marriages end in divorce. She is saving this because she thinks it. I'm telling you, this is a bad miscalculation on this girl's part. She should have had sex by now.
Yeah, and you break up because you no longer want that person in your life. Has no reason. Like, you aren't married and say, you know what? Let's just keep hating each other and being around each other.
Well, if her parents were married, they would still not be together anymore. That piece of paper had nothing to do with why they split up.
Yeah, it's because you didn't want that person in your life anymore. You figured you were better off without.
Does she think that people don't rush to divorce easily? I mean, they do. The majority of people get divorced like that.
There's something oddly cute about a girl who has no idea how things work.
She has no idea. She has no idea. Okay, let's go back. Lolo Jones on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel discussing, this is Olympic hurdler, U.S. Olympic team hurdler, Lolo Jones, discussing the fact that she is a 30-year-old virgin.
I have that solid bond. It's just a gift I want to give to my husband. So.
Wow.
But please understand, this journey has been hard. I'm not... Or if there's virgins out there, I'm gonna let them know it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Harder than training for the Olympics, harder than graduating from college has been to stay a virgin before marriage. I've been tempted, I've had plenty of opportunities.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, well, I'm 1 year out from turning 30, so I say if they're making a sequel to the 30-year-old virgin, I am their candidate. I would love to. I'm a little bit awkward like Steve Carell. I could definitely play that role.
People are going to find this very hard to believe.
It was cute. Like when I was 22, 24, it was cute. Like, oh, I'm a virgin, that's cute. 24 to 29, it's not cute. Like you get judged a lot. A lot of guys won't return your calls after they find out. Here's the two things that happen when you tell a guy you're a virgin. And this is the honest truth. So one, you tell them, they say, oh, okay, I respect that. But you can already see it in their mind and in their eyes that they're like, she's lying about this, and I'll crack it. So after we talk a month or so, or usually a month to 3 months, then they're like, oh, shoot, she was serious. Time for me to exit.
When I put together your whole life and what you've been through, and you've had traumas and you've had this unstable existence for such a long time, it actually makes sense to me that you want to have the kind of family that you wish you'd had as a kid.
Yeah, I guess I want that Norman Rockwell picture.
Well, you can have that and not be a virgin. I mean, it's not like there isn't happiness available to people who had premarital sex. Everyone has premarital sex. It's odd that you're a virgin at 30 years old.
It is, and on top of that, I mean, like this guy who marries her is like that's the guy that I really feel is the victim here. I mean, he's going into this. He's probably gonna have like a cute crush on her, you know, like, and then all of a sudden he's going to be married. It's gonna be awkward. That first sex is gonna be incredibly awkward. That's 30 years of virginity coming to fruition there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not gonna be all that great.
It's going to take her a while to get into it. It's going to take her a while to be good at it.
This is just
To
a
be
bad
comfortable
situation.
with her own self, you know?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's my theory on this. I wanted to play that. I wanted you to get a look at her. I wanted you to hear her own voice. I do not think that she is being entirely honest. And I'm going to throw out my theory here. She is a virgin, but not because of this convoluted theory that she wants this to be a gift to her future husband or she's waiting till marriage. It is my belief that she is a virgin because she is a lesbian. It is I believe that she is gay. And I believe that she doesn't want to come out because of the Olympics and she doesn't want all that distraction, that this is sort of an easier way for her to front load because people probably talk about her. There's probably whispers about why she never has a boyfriend, why she never does, you know what I mean? There's probably people in her world, her immediate circle, and with the United States Olympic track team and all that, who wonder about her. Because first of all, she is a female athlete, and I'm sorry to say, but most female athletes have to go through that, where people assume that they're lesbians because it's, you know, women aren't supposed to be athletes, which I'm not saying is true. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, I love female athletes. I find it sexy, and I like girls who are athletic. But this is a world-class Olympic hurdler. And I have to tell you, I've been watching her. I've been watching stuff on her. I've been watching her on her YouTube videos, her training videos. She is not graceful. She is not feminine. She isn't. She's a hurdler. She is a big, strong, hulking woman who can run really fast and leap over objects, and her body is not feminine at all. I mean, I pointed that out in the picture I showed you. She's got big masculine shoulders. In this interview, she is going on TV to do a television interview, and she's not wearing any makeup. She's got her hair pulled back in a ponytail. Ooh. I mean, a girl who was feminine and a girl who was a girl's girl at heart would go on looking great. Would go on looking like the soccer team chicks look. Mm-hmm. You know, when they get all their makeup on and their hair done and they look fantastic. She is just kind of a dude chick. She is a tomboy. She is a very big tomboy. And I think that she's uncomfortable with that. And I think that her entire life to this point has been so consumed with training for the Olympics and being the absolute best that she probably hasn't had much opportunity to go out and be a regular person and date regular people and go to parties and stuff like that. These Olympic athletes are monsters when it comes to the dedication that they show to being the best at what they do. And it's kind of an easy excuse for her. Someone who's confused sexually, someone who doesn't necessarily want to have sex with a guy. You know, it's not in her DNA. She's not wired that way. So what she does is she fills her time up with all of this workout and all of this training and being dedicated. And this is not, look, this is 2012, folks. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, she's a lesbian. And saying, no, I'm just saying that, you know, I think that from the pieces of this puzzle that I've been able to put together, there's a pretty good chance that this girl might be, like many female Olympic athletes are, lesbians. And I say many because they all come out. They all come out years after the Olympics. Well, yeah, ever seen the movie Personal Best? It was about the United States female track and field team and all the lesbian stuff going on.
It is one of those like moments where I always tell you that I have really bad gaydar, and even like incredibly gay people, I'll be like, oh, wow, thanks for telling me. I mean, like, I did not see. This is one of those moments. I should have been able to actually kind of see through this. You do have to read through the lines a little bit, but I'm like, yeah.
But if you even listen to the way she talks,
right?
It's a very sort of, you know, it's not feminine. She lacks certain feminine qualities. Now, she is blessed with being naturally cute. So when she goes on TV with her hair in a ponytail and no makeup, she looks cute. But man, she could probably look beautiful. Well, you've seen the photo pictures, right? With the where she's dressed up for photos and stuff. Maybe that's different. But this girl, and the other thing that I thought was interesting, it sort of played into my, was Mary Carrillo is the woman that she did the interview with, and Mary Carrillo's a lesbian. The woman who's interviewing her is a lesbian.
That was a woman
Yeah,
interviewing her?
yeah, that was what you thought that was a
Oh.
guy. Yeah,
Yes.
no, that was Mary Carrillo. Mary Carrillo, former athlete, out of the closet, a fantastic sports broadcaster. She is. You know, I mean, I like Mary Carrillo a lot, but I thought it was interesting that they were having this conversation about it. I wanted at some point Mary Carrillo to go, do you like men? Just a point blank question. I would have loved to have seen her answer to that.
Well, if she had done that, she might have missed the chance when the cameras went down to say, so what are you doing later?
Yeah, right. She's trolling for her own personal.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you have it. That is from Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. It's an HBO show. You can catch it at reruns all the time if you have HBO. The interview with Lolo Jones, U.S. Olympic team hurdler. She'll be participating at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London starting in about a week.
Now, the Summer Olympics, the last time that this was going on, weren't there rumors of them just having crazed orgies?
Yes.
So maybe we might get some more updates about things that are going on with Lolo.
The Olympic Village which is where all of the athletes live. Wherever they hold the Olympics, they create this neighborhood and they move in all the athletes from around the world. It's called the Olympic Village, and all the athletes intermingle and hang out. The stories of the partying that goes on. Have you ever heard the stories of what goes on with the people who work at Disney World?
Yes. Yeah.
The stories of the Olympic Village put those Disney workers to shame. And those Disney workers are out of their mind with their orgies and their drugs and all of this stuff. All right, well, that's it. Again, the Olympics, they start just in a couple of weeks. London, 2012, Lolo Jones, be watching for her. She's a virgin, but I wonder if she's been with girls. That's what I wonder. I would like to have a sit down with Lolo Jones and explore a little bit more, but I'm willing to wait till after the Olympics because I understand endorsements and that sort of thing. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's thebarlive.com PMS for a Wednesday afternoon. It's thebarlive.com PMS for a Wednesday afternoon. Jimmy Ryan is with me. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
Jimmy and I just made Jimmy watch the Kristen Wiig farewell on Saturday Night Live, and I had you focus on the Jason Sudeikis. What was your take on that? What did you think was happening there?
Well, obviously I'm not too familiar with everything that's going on, but like if I had to guess, just completely guess as to what's going on, I would think that like he had just found out that she was leaving and that they had been dating or something. You know, like he seems so distraught over things.
Everyone else was, enthusiastic, clapping and smiling, and this is a farewell. We love you. We want to tell you how much we love you. He was uncomfortable. He's working his collar. He's uncomfortable in his jacket. He's doing this, like in the background, like he's hyperventilating. And then you see how he just walked off at the end? Everybody was still dancing and everything on stage, and he just waited till the very first opportunity, and he left. He just left.
I've seen people look more comfortable during interventions.
Yeah. I felt bad because he's such a great guy. He's so funny, and his character are so... there's nothing negative about Jason Sudeikis. Everything is a big smile, and it's funny, and he's upbeat. And to see him like that, it was a little bit odd.
It is. I mean, like just seeing his face like that. I think that's why it's so easy to spot him in the crowd during those scenes.
Because he's so different.
He's just the polar opposite of everybody else that's out there.
One of these kids is doing his own thing. The Sesame Street thing.
Yeah.
And he's obviously the kid that doesn't belong, that doesn't fit in with what's going on. All right, what do you say we get into a little douche tournament here for a Wednesday afternoon? We didn't do it yesterday. Oh boy, I got distracted. Right. We had some other things going on. Sam hates my guts, so I was distracted by that. Maybe we'll just start. I'll make me the douche of the day for yesterday. But a couple that I wanted to talk about here. This is the one that's getting the most play. We're seeing this. I saw this yesterday, and then it's been appearing on all of the news. You hear about this guy in, I believe it was Seattle, who was at, you said yesterday you don't go to many movie theaters anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's too much. Too much of a distraction. I don't want to go sit and watch movies with strangers anymore. I can do it in my own home.
No, it honestly, it
and
sounds like
you can't pause
hell.
anything.
No, it sounds like if they were to pay me, I would still turn it down. I just cannot stand it.
To go to a movie.
Yeah.
You have to see every movie for the rest of your life in a theater, and it'll be free. You would say no?
No, there's no way.
Really?
There's no way. And I don't usually mind. It's
refills on soda. I'll sweeten the pot.
It's getting a little closer. But I mean, honestly, it's just so... It's the biggest distraction. When I leave, I never feel like I had a great time. It's usually like I had to leave in the middle of it. I missed a part. I come back. My friends are like, oh, you missed a really good part. Let me tell you about it. Now they're telling me things through the rest of the movie. It's just the worst.
I would not want to be in the movie theater business these days. I would not want to be a guy who's got 40 theaters. Yeah, because you're about to go broke. You're about to lose. I mean, it's been... there's like a decline of like over 70% of movie-going audience that people are consuming. And that's just in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
People are consuming films in different ways, whether it's they're watching them online or they're pay-per-viewing them, direct TV or whatever the deal is. But there's just better and more satisfactory options available to people to consume these entertainment products than going and sitting with a bunch of unruly strangers in a dirty theater that's either too hot or too cold, and you can't pause it if you have to go to the bathroom. I mean, this is something that should never happen anymore with the way we consume film. We should never have to miss anything because we went to the bathroom. We should never have to say, what did I miss, ever again, because there is a million... just pause it. There are a million ways for you. You go back. You can't do that in a movie theater. So movie theaters definitely seem dated.
They do, and I'm in a weird situation, or I guess a good situation, because Sam gets these passes where I can go for free before the movie even comes out, and I am in no way tempted. Because it's gonna be the worst.
I hate those previews because they're always packed like sardines and they're sitting next to total strangers. It's because everybody wants a free movie.
It's everything that you hate about movie theaters times 10.
Times 10, but it's free.
Yes.
Yeah. An Auburn man, Auburn, Washington, accused of smacking a loud 10-year-old at a Kent movie theater could face a month in jail if convicted of the felony assault charge. King County prosecutors contend the 21-year-old Yong Hyun Kim... Isn't he the ruler of North Korea? knocked out one of the boy's teeth after the child and several other youths refused to quiet down and stop throwing popcorn. Now, they were seeing this Titanic 2 in 3D, whatever this re-release of the Titanic movie was. And this guy is sitting there, Hyung Young Young. He's sitting there with his girlfriend, and behind him are a bunch of kids and their mom. Their mom was with them. And the kids were apparently being bad. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's level of tolerance is,
Right.
but he was irritated. And he turned around and he told them to please be quiet. And apparently the kids at this point started making fun of him, which sucks. Have you ever been made fun of by kids?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's awful.
I guess I've been avoiding that.
Oh my God. I was walking to my car. This was last summer. I was walking to my car and I tripped over a parking thing. And there was like 5 kids on their bikes, like 20 yards away. And they all just started howling at me. And I didn't know what to do. What was I, you damn kids! I mean, I guess it was funny, but it's humiliating. Shut up, kid. You want to revert to the way you would handle a 10-year-old when you were 10.
Right.
Shut up, kid. It's like you can't do that because you're an adult.
Yeah, I just realized how overwhelming that must be because you are just kind of going back to 10-year-old you where you just want to rush at them.
You know what I said too? I remember not being happy with what I said as I was picking my fat 40-year-old body up off the ground. I remember saying, "Ha ha, people fall sometimes." Like I was indignant, I should have just laughed. I should have played along. But no, I got like indignant with him. Ha ha, kids. People fall sometimes. Life is hard, let me tell you. You're going to fall. Maybe it won't be like this, but it'll be something similar. And I hope I'm there to laugh at you. Turn into a mean old man.
Oh, that's great. That will bring out the worst in you, though. Or at least the one that's, probably the most embarrassing response to the situation. If you just go down to that simple, fundamental level.
Ha ha, kids, people fall sometimes. That's what I came up with. Like, they're going to understand that. Like they're going to be able to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Look, it was funny.
Like the lead kid's got to turn to the other guys and go, wait, he's right. Yeah. Sometimes they do fall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like somebody's going to go, yeah, hey, leave him alone. Falling's not, he could have hurt himself. The 10-year-olds aren't going to do that.
Perfectly normal thing for a human to do.
And I was carrying like a 32-ounce thing. It spilled all over. Went all over my shirt. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh, that's great.
You damn kids. All right, so these kids are acting up in the movie theater, and the 21-year-old Yong Kim, he told them to shut up, and then they start making fun of him. Like, I'm sure it was like, ooh, ching chong China man. I'm sure it was like that kind of stuff, like really bad kid stuff, like stuff that like an adult did. You'd be like, I'm calling the police. That's a hate crime, But these kids, they're like, oh, China man, or whatever. I'm sure it was something like that. And their mom was sitting there. Now he says he didn't see that the mom was sitting there, but once they started making fun of him, he asked him again to be quiet and to knock it off. Hey, you kids, cut it out. It's like you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's just going to make them do it more. So he decided that he was going to he wound up and he just smacked one of these kids right in the face with an open hand.
Wow.
Smacked him right in the face. Bloodied his nose and knocked a tooth out.
Ooh.
Now, these kids were 10 years old. They were losing their teeth anyway. So,
is that about the time that they're
it's about the time. Yeah, it was
okay.
probably loose. It's not like he punched him. Seriously. I'm just trying to be honest about this.
All
This
right.
10-year-old kid's teeth were probably...
That was coming out in an apple later on.
Exactly. Yeah, it was going to come out in the popcorn.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure that this guy... But here's what he's saying. And this is why we got to decide if he's a douche or not. And I kind of believe what he's saying. He said it was a dark theater. He was wearing those 3D glasses, and he didn't know the kid was 10 years old. He thought the kid was a young adult like him. He didn't know the kid was 10 years old. And he certainly didn't know that his mother was sitting right there. And quite honestly, who would know that the mother is sitting there? Because the kids are acting like baboons. Why isn't the mother keeping her damn little rugrats in check? I mean, when you're at the movie theater with a kid and your kid causes another adult to get involved, don't you make yourself known as the kid's parent? All right, let's tap the brakes here. I'm the kid's parent. You don't talk to him. You talk to me. We'll figure this out. That's how you handle it. But this mom apparently did nothing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're this mom and you're gonna continue to behave like this, just get used to seeing your kid bitch slapped every once in a while.
Yes. I always say it. Every kid needs to be punched in the face once. They just need to
yeah,
learn. You just
yeah.
need to learn that you need to watch your tone because people will, out of the blue, just pop you in the face. At 10:40 p.m. on April 11th, Kent police were called to the AMC Theater following a complaint that a man had attacked a child. It always sounds so bad.
Right.
You know? Officers arrived to find the 10-year-old, his mother, and several friends in the theater lobby. The boy was bleeding from the nose and missing a tooth. The boy told police he wasn't sure why Kim struck him. Oh, but officer, I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting there like a good little boy. My mommy was sitting right next to me. Of course I didn't need it. Come on. Of course the kid's not going to say, well, I was making fun of him.
Yeah.
And we were talking and we were throwing that's the other thing. They were throwing popcorn on him and his date. Wow. Yeah, just like the worst. This is why movie theaters are going out of business. Nobody wants to deal with the great unwashed. You know, I love each and every one of you watching right now, but I don't want to meet any of your friends because they're all a-holes. Everyone else in this world is an a-hole. I don't want to sit next to them in a movie theater. I don't want to ride a bus with them across country. People just don't like one another because there are too many idiots out there, too many a-holes, too many poorly behaved individuals.
Do we know what's going on with him now? Like what kind of?
He's awaiting trial.
He's awaiting trial.
He's awaiting trial. He got locked up. He bailed himself out. He got himself bailed out. He didn't spend any time in jail. He could face a month in jail. But his argument is, look, it was dark. I was wearing 3D glasses. I turned around and I just smacked the person who threw the popcorn at me. And I didn't know it was a 10-year-old kid.
Well, I mean, sometimes, judges, they'll throw the book at somebody who's really well known. To kind of make a message to everybody else.
Well, this guy's the leader of North Korea, so very well known.
Yeah, I think that we should make this our message to the youth of America. Watch yourself. We will be able to bitch slap you. If you're gonna be sitting behind us making a noise and you aren't willing to join the rest of us in society, then await your bitch slapping. I think that's a perfectly good message to send off. The judge should be behind it. That'd be a nice case to see.
But he did hit a 10-year-old. He's 21. Something's got to happen to him. All right, so anyway, there's candidate number 1 for today's douche of the day tournament, okay? Let's see here. Number 2, this is another one that's going to be a little bit controversial. Pizza Patron, which is a pizza restaurant here in the Dallas-Fort Worth. Actually, they say that they're Dallas-based, but they say that there's hundreds. So I'm wondering if maybe they are... if they're elsewhere.
I know that there's tons around here.
Have you ever eaten at Pizza Patron?
No, it always sounded like a bad idea.
It sounds bad. First of all, it's in Texas, so it's bad pizza, and then Patron to me says tequila. That doesn't sound. That sounds like two things that I'm not interested in.
Yeah, I don't need. I've always assumed that it's a Mexican style pizza.
Well, here's what it is. Yes, it is Hispanic owned and operated, and they are primarily located in Hispanic neighborhoods, Hispanic areas.
Which is why I usually see them right next door to where I'm living.
Do you live in a lot of Hispanic neighborhoods? Okay.
I've lived next door to a lot of Pizza Patrons.
A local pizza chain that made waves in 2007 for accepting Mexican pesos for payment has come up with a new way to generate some buzz for itself, offering free pizza to anyone who orders in Spanish. Dallas-based Pizza Patron will be offering free pizza on June 5th from 5 to 8 p.m. to anyone who places their order in Spanish. The promotion was announced in a company press release as a way to honor the positive force of change immigrants have made to communities throughout America. The company is calling for Promotion Pizza Por Favor. The company is calling the promotion Pizza Por Favor. Pizza Patron has over 100 locations nationwide, but they are Dallas-based. All right, now, I put this up on my Facebook page, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I was doing a little trolling. Maybe I just wanted to see what was going to happen out there.
Right.
I want to. First of all, what do you think of that? This pizza place is offering free pizza to anybody that orders their pizza between 5 and 8 p.m. on June 5th in Spanish.
I think that it's what's the reason why it's June 5th? Is there any real reason for that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I mean, you're able to do whatever you really want to as far as an owner goes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is the problem? I put it up on my face. There are people who are outraged. Oh, sir, why don't we just give them everything they want? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
This is their market demo is the Hispanic community. They are strategically located in Hispanic. I don't know if many Hispanic people have a favorite pizza place. It might be a way to sort of introduce Hispanics who aren't used to eating pizza or this particular, who wouldn't otherwise think to get a pizza.
Right.
This is a way for them to try the product. This unbelievable territorial sort of why do they get it for free attitude that people are making on this story is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, if you're
mind-blowing.
If you're worried about why they're getting it for free, why don't you learn 3 words of Spanish and
Yes.
make an order?
What about me? I'm a white guy. Don't I get it for free? Yeah, you get it for free. Go drive down to the Mexican neighborhood and order in Spanish, and they're going to give it to you. This doesn't just apply to Mexican immigrants.
And it's a lot like the movie situation for me. Pizza sounds like crap. There's not even for free am I going to go over to Pizza Patron and pick up one of their pies in Spanish. So it doesn't bother me. Well, you can have them
Why
go
would it
there.
bother anyone? I think it's a brilliant way to market to a community that's untapped in the pizza world.
Now, are people up in arms over the fact that you can actually use another language to order pizza?
People are upset. People hate Mexicans so much. White people hate Mexicans so much that anything that is for Mexicans is suddenly got to be against white people. Or, we're talking about zero sum here. It's not like, the Mexicans get free pizza. That doesn't mean that you'll never get free pizza because all the free pizza is being given to the Mexicans. It's ridiculous. First of all, it's not for Mexicans. It's for anyone who orders in Spanish. It's for anyone who is bilingual or who can find a Mexican friend and say, how do you say, give me a free large pepperoni in Spanish? That's what this is. Why is this a problem? I don't get it. I'm going to read you a couple of these Facebook posts that people put, okay? And I have no idea why they feel this way. Justin says, I don't like it, but what can you do, right? What don't you like about it? What do you mean? This doesn't affect you in any way possible. How is this something you don't like? I could see someone putting, interesting story.
Yeah.
But why I don't like it? Why are people upset?
You know what? I would love it if somebody just said, you know what? June 5th, I'm going to wake up. My life's going to go on just the way I had assumed it would.
Yes.
Whether or not people were able to make orders of pizza in Spanish.
Keith, another guy on my Facebook page. F that S with a capital F. Why you be hating? What is the problem here? I am completely lost as to why this is a problem. Other than you don't like Mexicans or you're feeling threatened by Mexicans and anything that has to do with Spanish language or anything, you're just opposed to for no reason. I would love to hear a reason why. All right, and then here's Linda. Linda making a brilliant point, says obviously they're trying to get business from a different clientele. Just saying. That's what they're doing. They are catering to the Hispanic market because that's where they have chosen to locate their Pizza Patrons. That's it.
This promo isn't for you if you find this offensive.
Right. But why would you find it offensive?
I know. I think, because they find everything offensive. I mean, if they get a chance, these are the people that have to, they're just going to, shake their stick at anything that they get a chance to do it at. So
here's one that's pretty well thought out. This is from Alan. Alan says, seriously, just dumb. Well, okay, first of all, yes, it's serious. And no, it's not dumb. They're catering to their demo. It's not dumb. It's marketing brilliance because now everybody's talking about it. The story was on the news. The story is being circulated all over the web. It's brilliant marketing. Whoever came up with this, I would hire like that if I had some. This guy obviously knows how to tweak nerves and get people talking. So Alan says, seriously, just dumb. Next week, you can get your pizza half off if you pay in pennies. They want to bring back the importance of pennies to our currency. Wait, how about middle school week? Name a country on the map other than the U.S., solve a word math problem. Everyone knows what that is. If Johnny is riding a bus going 60 miles per hour, see, he's just going on and on and on about things that...
He's very upset.
He's very upset.
He's talking about Johnny going 60 miles an hour on buses all of a sudden. And
I don't know. He's very upset. Or bring a wooden sander from shop class made from the bandsaw we all used to with safety shields other than those stupid...
Exactly what I was thinking.
All right. right. And then he says, I'm all for free pizza. Just saying. But okay, but people are getting really upset. Will, here's another one. Will says, I don't understand why all these people are so upset about this. Pizza Patron sucks. You might as well be ordering a box full of diarrhea.
Yeah.
All right, well, if that's your thought. But I don't get it. This douche tournament is not for Pizza Patron. It's for anyone who is outraged that they are doing this promotion.
Yeah, if you go into a Mexican food restaurant, if they were to do something like that, I would almost appreciate it more. You know, it's kind of like whenever you go into a Mexican food restaurant around here, and that is one thing that is better here than most of the other places, is the Tex-Mex here. Like, you can get really good Mexican food around here that you can't get in most other places. Now, I always like it when you go in there and they have like that, Spanish type music playing in the background, kind of adds to the authenticity of it.
The atmosphere.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like if they were to do something where you got a little bit off the bill because you spoke a little bit of Spanish, I would be all for that.
Sure, why not?
But for some reason, like they've now interfered with the pizza market, and people are going to find offense in that.
You know, my son is learning. He's just learning to speak. Well, he speaks English. He speaks English very remedial, at a very remedial level because he's only 3 years old. Mm-hmm. But he is also learning how to count and do the alphabet in Spanish. Like, he came home from school, the little preschool thing that he goes to, and he started counting for me in Spanish. Uno, dos, tres. And my first thought was, that is awesome. I want my kid to be bilingual.
Yeah.
Do you know what it says about you if you know more than one language? It says that you have the capability of learning more than one language, which means you're smart, which means your brain can do these kinds of things. A lot of people have a very difficult time with one language, let alone learning multiple languages. So my kid being taught to count in Spanish in school, along with English, he knows how to count in English, but in addition, learning how to count in Spanish, I think that's an amazingly cool thing, and yet I understand that there are people that would be outraged by this. Most of them are Rush Limbaugh listeners, or people who watch The O'Reilly Factor, but why? My kid is learning. I want my kid to learn as much as possible, and folks, you're going to have to face it. There are going to be a lot of people in this country speaking Spanish in the next few years. We can fight it, and we can be outraged, and we can be left behind, or we can just accept it and go, well, you know what? It's probably a good thing that we learn a second language. Probably a good thing.
Yeah, your kids knowing a second language is guaranteed jobs.
And
guaranteed.
Absolutely. And with this global sort of world that we live in now, these generations of kids, it's almost going to be a requirement that they speak multiple languages. You know?
I would have found it very funny if he had come home and he only knew Spanish. That would have been a bit of an issue, but
yeah. Well, no, but okay. All right, so there we go. We'll just do those two because those are the two. Which one? Who's the douche of the day here? Do we have? What was the first one we talked about?
First one was, which one was that?
Man slaps boy in a theater.
Oh, that's right.
All right. The guy, 21-year-old man, slaps and knocks the tooth out of a 10-year-old kid who wouldn't shut his mouth in a movie theater. It was dark. He was wearing 3D glasses, so he says he didn't realize that the kid was 10 years old. He just got hit with popcorn, turned, and smacked, and it hit a kid. Or the people who are outraged that Pizza Patron is going to give free pizza away on June 5th for people who can order in Spanish.
I think that you already kind of know how I feel about the guy that ended up slapping the kid. I mean, I'm almost siding with him.
Yeah,
So,
I'm almost siding with him too.
Yeah.
You gotta give him a little break here. This
Yeah.
kid was probably acting like a little a-hole.
And I don't believe that he thought that he wasn't 10. I think that he probably thought he was like 13 or something and wanted to slap a 13-year-old kid. I'm still giving him a slide.
Yeah, you still can't slap a 13-year-old kid, but it's better than 3 or 10, I should say. All right, I agree with you. Let's go with the people who are outraged that Pizza Patron is doing a promotion to their own market in their own neighborhoods. It's simple demoing. It's brilliant. There is absolutely no reason why anyone should be upset about this.
Yeah, I know. You should also. Well, I guess they are. They're the same people that are upset whenever they see commercials done in Spanish. They're those people.
Yeah.
So I was just about to say that'd be just as crazy, but I guess it is.
And they get angry when they're watching TV and it says also available in SAP. Or when they get really angry at that.
Or when it says press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, and they're like, "Oh,
this is America." We got to speak American. All right, well, if we're speaking American, then that's about 100 different dialects of Native American Indian that we'll all have to learn.
And believe me, I understand a little bit. I mean, I used to love the internet when you would have like under country. You would hit country and like America would be at the top. It would say United States and then all the other countries underneath it.
Yeah.
That was when we were the only ones that really had the internet.
When we were cool.
Yeah, but now everyone has the internet.
Now you have to
so
scroll
now you
all the
gotta
way down
scroll.
to you.
Yeah, now you're
All the way
scrolling.
down.
And it's part of the time. You know, you're just going to have to deal.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. Today's douche of the day are any of these people who are really upset that Pizza Patron is marketing to their demographic, their audience, and giving them a reason to come in and try their pizza. Free pizza for anyone that orders in Spanish between the hours of 5 and 8 on June 5th. This is not another indication of how America is, going to be overtaken by the Mexican. This is nothing like this. Although, and we'll talk about this on the other side, where do the Mexicans fit in this race war that's coming? Where do the Mexicans side?
They're going to let us implode. The blacks and
The
whites
Mexicans
are
are
going
going to sit back and then take over.
Yeah.
That's how it'll work.
Genius.
The race war will be between the whites and the blacks, and the Mexicans will all just hang back, wait for the dust to settle, and then rebuild in their own image.
Yeah, just rebuild nothing but Pizza Patrons.
We're going to talk about the coming race war next. It's the Bar Live PMS, the Pugs Moran show for a Wednesday afternoon. All right, it's thebarlive.com PMS for a Wednesday afternoon every day, noon to 2. You can find us on YouTube. Just go to, just look for PMS on YouTube. Also, check out the website, thebarlive.com. Click on podcast, find the podcast there, find the YouTube. Well, you know what I'll be doing on the Facebook page, John Pugs on Facebook, and also on The Bar Live on Facebook. I'll be putting up the YouTube recording of the show every day as soon as it becomes available. That's typically just a couple, what is that, Jimmy, like an hour or so after the show it's usually available?
Yeah, usually like no more than a couple hours.
Yep, there you go. You can use it, you can watch it, you can do whatever you want to do with it there. All right, a couple of things here as we roll into just about the end of the show that I wanted to mention. Did you see this? There's a new poll out today, Jimmy Ryan, that suggests that 56% of Americans want marijuana legalized.
I did see this.
56%. That is up from under 40%, I believe, 4 years ago.
It's moving quickly,
yes.
The opinion.
Yeah, what do you think that is? I have a theory on this, but do you have a theory on it?
I think that it's just, you're getting more and more people that, really never gave it a really good thinking about, that weren't involved. I mean, like for me, I grew up, I was always kind of around pot, so it forced me to think about what its ramifications would be on public, and on society. Other people didn't grow up that way, so they never really had to think about it. Now with the constant, bickering about whether or not there should be medical marijuana in California, and then it's spreading to other cities and other states, people are having to look at it again. And once they do, it changes their opinion many times.
Here's what I think. The people in power now and the old people in our society now are former hippies. We don't have this generation, this big, strong generation of people who still believe what they saw in the movie Reefer Madness. That kind of propaganda has fallen on deaf ears to most of the people who live and breathe and run things. I mean, even our politicians now, our politicians who are in their 60s, late 60s and 70s, those are people who were in their 20s and 30s in the 1960s. They were around it. They saw it. They understand that there is a difference between cocaine, heroin, pill addiction, and marijuana. They understand the difference. And I think that's why as America gets older, what we have here is now our aging population are people who grew up in the 60s, who grew up with weed, who popularized weed in culture. I mean, it started from them.
I think that there's definitely a lot of truth to it, because those are the same people who did grow up in the 60s, but those people sold out. Those people are now hardcore Republicans. They will go for it, but only if they see that they can make a lot of money off of it and things like that. But those people are not the same people from the 60s.
Those people they did sell out. You're right. They sold out in their 40s and their 50s, and they pretended that, especially the politicians, that they were family values people. But here's the thing. These people are all in their 60s and 70s now. They all have friends and maybe themselves who have cancer, who have glaucoma, who have sore muscles and wicked bad arthritis. There is nothing better for arthritis than weed. Nothing. Ask any ask any former pro football lineman what the best way to treat messed up knees and sore muscles and all that stuff. They will all tell you smoking weed. Well, not all of them, obviously. But you would be surprised at the amount. Linemen, I mean, I've had this conversation every time I meet someone who's an offensive lineman in football. I always ask them, because I have two friends who are offensive linemen for the Chicago Bears, and I remember one of them saying in a conversation, and he wasn't talking directly to me, but I was involved in the conversation. I remember this guy saying, he was a Chicago Bear for a number of years. He goes, when it gets to a certain point in the fourth quarter and his body is breaking down, all he can think about is being home in his hot tub at 9 o'clock on Sunday night with a big fatty, because that was how he did it. He didn't want to take the pills. He didn't want to have the addiction problems. He knew that the only way he could relax his beaten and this guy in particular, 6'7", 300 pounds, the only way that he could maintain that body and feel good about it and not be a complete wreck the next morning was if he smoked weed. And because of that conversation, I've known a number of cowboy linemen. I've known a number of linemen from other, just first of all, because linemen are the easiest to get to know. Because they're not the rock stars. They're the ones that will show up at the party.
Oh, so Tony Romo, you don't think that he would be as quick to come hang out?
Tony Romo probably not. But so I wouldn't have the opportunity. But I do know a lot of linemen, a lot of cowboy linemen. Hell, Kelly dated a lineman. But that's what they use. It's the dirty secret of the NFL lineman, and I'm certain that, and they use it for medicinal purposes. And what you have now, the people who you say sold out, you know, they're also in those boats now. They know that the way they prefer to treat their arthritis at 70 years old is with marijuana. They know that, I mean, it's just, I think that's what's happening. I think we are getting an aging, how do I say this? Our aging population is a population that understands what marijuana really is. They don't play into the propaganda. They don't, you know, they don't think you take 2 puffs and you climb up on the roof and you think you can fly. You know, they don't buy into that. They know that's not true. They know that nobody has ever. You know what? If you smoke a marijuana joint and you go up on the roof and think you can fly, that was not marijuana you just smoked.
No, and it might be. I don't think that it would be the first time that you've ever tried to do that either.
No.
I don't think that it had anything to do with that.
No, if you, here's what happens if you get high. You might be sitting on the couch stoned going, I feel like I can fly. I don't want to walk up to the roof. That's what weed does to you. It makes you just chill. It makes you just sit and relax. So 56% of Americans now say that they want it legalized.
Yeah, it makes you the guy on the couch that says, I feel like I can fly. That guy's flying while you're watching TV.
You know, the problem is going to be here, though. I mean, once it starts to become a legitimate conversation, which it's on the verge of becoming now. I mean, it already is in some circles, but I'm talking about one that isn't seen as such a crazy, outlandish, fringe, lefty kind of argument.
Right.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by something. What you're going to see, though, is the backlash. And you know where the backlash is going to come? You know where the anti-legalization and all that's going to come?
What's that?
Pharmaceutical companies and the alcohol companies.
Yeah.
The beer lobby is going to get all involved trying to stop this. The pharmaceutical lobby is going to go insane trying to stop this. Because if you can, you're not going to need to buy your arthritis pills if people all of a sudden start growing their arthritis pills in their backyard because it's legal.
Yeah, and very quickly you realize that you don't need any of that stuff when you do have marijuana. I'll openly admit that. I've been very quick to do that over any of the stuff that I've been prescribed before. I just won't even go pick it up. And I feel fine. I mean, it's one of the few things that I can actually say is something that seems to always help.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it never seems to have those issues that the other ones do. And I mean, like, you know, it will be the pharmaceutical companies that do that because they're the same ones that during alcohol prohibition, this is one of the funny things about Walgreens. There was one Walgreens store before Prohibition. Prohibition goes into effect, and Walgreens starts trying to lobby to be the sole provider of whiskey. So now they get the authority to do that, and Walgreens went from 1 store to 230 in the time of Prohibition because they were the lone provider of whiskey.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See, everybody's got an in.
So I mean, like, the same thing will definitely happen because when they finally legalize this, I'm sure that the pharmaceutical companies will be throwing a shit fit. I mean, they won't even know what to do with themselves.
No, they'll try and get it. They'll try and create something like that Marinol for mass,
Right.
you know, where people will still have to go to the doctor and get their prescription. And there's gonna be the arguments for and against it. We don't have to get into it. I just wanted to mention that study, so we're not gonna have a full-on conversation. But I mean, just the tax benefits, the crime that will go down, the people that will no longer be criminals. I mean, think about that. Think about you got to let people in prison that are in prison because they got caught with a trunk of weed. Now you got to start looking at them differently. You know, they're not these horrible criminals. They're really, you know,
a 17-year-old who got caught with pot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to have to run with that because now 17's an adult.
Yeah.
And that just changed everything. I remember in high school, you got told that kind of BS thing, and I that's what it was. When you were in high school, if you got an F, your teacher would basically say, well, that's the end. Remember, like, you know, you had to do always good things.
Or it would go on your permanent record.
Right.
Where is that permanent record?
Yeah.
I'm 40 years old. I would love to see my permanent record. I don't think it exists.
Yeah, I mean, I was always worried about that permanent record. But you know what they didn't spend as much time on was, hey, that you're stoned, and if you're 17, you're going to be really screwed if you have this on your record. That's a permanent record, and it does stick with you.
Look, I don't think that this is something for kids. I think it needs to be regulated. It needs to be legalized and regulated in the way that we regulate anything else, any other kind of intoxicant. I mean, because it is an intoxicant. I don't believe it's as dangerous an intoxicant. I don't believe, as a lot of people I know, that I drive better when I'm stoned. I hear that all the time. Yeah, no, I won't go along with that. because I do not. I would never get behind the wheel when I'm stoned any more than I would get behind the wheel when I'm drunk. You know, there are things you try to avoid because you have to admit to yourself, you have to be honest about it. It really does impair you in a certain way. Not in the same way drunk driving does, but in a different way, but you're still impaired. So it would have to be regulated. It would have to be taxed. And, you know, I'd love to see these dispensaries start popping up places.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those are really cool things. I watch a couple of reality shows on TV that deal with that.
One of the nicest things about going into California is seeing all the different dispensaries that are all set up all around the place. You get to see people hanging out in front of them.
Shut up. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
What the hell just happened in here? That was very nice. I don't know. Jimmy, go ahead. You tell me what just happened while we were having that conversation.
Just in the middle of that conversation, a girl came in on a bikini and gave you a water.
Yeah, a really pretty girl I've never seen before in a bikini just walked in and gave you gotta love the Sun Brew House.
Yeah.
Telling you, it's the MTV Beach House of North Dallas. Thank you. I don't know what to say. And it's crazy because I needed water. I have like no water left, and I was worried. I was like, oh, I got about 20 minutes left before I can get some water.
Well, you know, I'm a little jealous. I also needed water too, but you know.
Oh, you need some?
No, go ahead,
Let me
go
pour
ahead.
some in my cup. Hold on. Anything can happen here at the Sun Brew Beach House. There. There you go.
Nice.
All right. Forgot what we were talking about. Oh, yeah. Okay, the race war. The coming race war. We got to talk about this.
Yes.
The coming race war will be brought to you by thedrudgereport.com. I promise you this much, folks. There's every single day. Oh, look at us. Now she's back.
Thank you.
That's very nice. I didn't know that we had curb service. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Next, a girl on roller skates. That's what I want. I want a girl on roller skates next, just like we're at Sonic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been saying for a couple of days now that the Drudge Report is probably the most over-the-top flame fanner of all, of the mainstream sites. I mean, I'm certain that there are some Aryan Nation sites out there that are really going after the race war talk a lot heavier. But the Drudge Report is being reckless, man. They're just, I was trying to explain this to you. They've changed this from earlier today, but I pulled this story out. Every single day on the Drudge Report, at some point, there will be a story or two, or in some cases 3 or 4, where the primary crux of the story is a black person somehow brutalizing a white person. And the Drudge Report headline will go out of the way to make sure we know white woman beaten by black mob. Like that. You know, It's just real incendiary kind of stuff. And what I wonder is, you know, haven't white people and vice versa, but let's stay on the topic of white. Haven't white people been the victim of crime perpetrated by minorities for a long time? Isn't that kind of an everyday thing?
Yeah.
Like, isn't there probably 100 white people who will be mugged today in America's major cities by black people? I mean, are they all a part of the race war? Or is this kind of always, you know, lower income people tend to be minorities because that's the way our society is structured?
Well, according to the Drudge Report, they're doing a teleconference once a morning and actually getting together and saying, hey, look, we really got to amp up our muggings of white people today. We're really trying to ramp up this race war.
So he had 2 stories right next to each other. The first story was on the top, and it said, woman attacked in McDonald's drive-thru. Now, you click on that story, and you go to it, and you read it, and it's from some Baltimore newspaper. And in that story that you're reading, from the initial link on Drudge Report in the Baltimore newspaper, you see a quote that one of the assailants said, this, as he threw a grape soda at the woman in the drive-thru, "This is a grape soda for you, you white bitch." Okay? And that's in quotes. Drudge took that quote out of the story and then gave that quote its own link. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a secondary story with more information. No, you click on that link that says, "This grape soda is for you, you white bitch," and it takes you to the exact same story. Tell me he's not stirring the pot there. There's no reason to have 2 links to the same story with 2 different headlines. One, the straight headline, which is the headline from the newspaper, and the second, where he just pulled out an incendiary racist quote from the story and made it its own link.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, he's really stoking the flames here.
And it also shows that he probably couldn't find another place that reported this story. So he was trying to really get as much out of it as he could, you know, because if he can get more people to start writing on this story, that would be a good thing for him.
Well, here's what I think it is. I think he knows how people use his site. I think he knows that people scroll down the different links and they say, all right, movie theaters, sales down, marijuana, 56% say legalize it. Woman attacked in McDonald's drive-thru. This grape soda's for you, you white bitch. Oh, I'm going to click on that one. I think he knows that people may, with the regular headline, you know, may not be poked and prodded enough to click on it. But when he puts the quote about how it's a black person throwing a grape soda at a white person, he knows that people will get hits there. And maybe he's just trying to get his clicks up. Maybe, I don't know what he's doing. He's probably got some business. Maybe he doesn't want a race war. But he certainly is using a dangerous method to get his clicks up.
And that is the problem, too. I mean, like, most people do just read the headlines, and I'm sure that he's aware of that. So, you know, he needs to make it as crazy and outlandish as he possibly can, right all in that little area.
All right, here's the story. Let's give this story a listen, okay? This comes to us, I believe. No, this is from Denver, but it was reported by a Baltimore newspaper. So here we go. This is the story. Let's click. Let's give this a listen, see what it says. Again, woman attacked while ordering lunch at a McDonald's drive-thru, and the story is not loading. Okay, so we'll just wait and see what happens with that. Dateline, Denver, Colorado. Police are investigating a vicious beating. Here we go.
3350 Colorado at the McDonald's on a fight in the drive-thru. Two black females inside. They're fighting inside.
What's the 911
still
call?
in the drive-thru.
I don't feel safe anymore.
This is a very strange story. It's like all of the reporters speaking is taken out, and it's just the actualities. Have you ever heard of this before?
No.
This is a news report from a news, but you can't hear anything the reporter is saying. You're just hearing the actualities. Quiet, reporter.
I witnessed this young lady throwing trash out of her car, and all I said was that it wasn't cool.
All right, and now the reporter's talking and you can't hear. Okay, so at any rate, I'll read you the story. I'm sorry, I thought we had audio there. Police are investigating a vicious beating in a McDonald's drive-thru in Denver. Shannon, who asked not to use her last name, was the victim of an attack just before noon. She called our sister station, KUSA 9 News, and asked for help finding her attackers. I don't feel safe anymore, Shannon said, as we heard her say there in the piece. The attack happened in the middle of the busy lunch hour at the McDonald's on 3300 Colorado Boulevard. Here's the problem, near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Yeah, what did Kid Rock say, or Chris Rock?
He said, Martin Luther King Jr., one man who always stood for nonviolence. But any city in America, if you go to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, there's some violence going on.
That's very true. The attack happened in the middle of a busy lunch hour. Radio reference recorded dispatchers describing the attack as multiple 911 calls came in. Quoting now, 2 black females are inside. They're fighting inside the car still in the drive-thru. One dispatcher can be heard saying, Shannon, this is the victim, has been coming to the same drive-thru for almost every day for 5 years. Really?
What's she look like?
I don't know. There's not a picture of her. You've been eating McDonald's every day for 5 years? No problem with America's health. No problem. I witnessed this young lady. Here's what Shannon saw. I witnessed this young lady throwing trash out of her car, and all I said was that it wasn't cool. Hey, that's not cool, man. You know, when somebody throws stuff out the window. Brandon had a funny story about, here we don't do that. I mean, you don't roll down the road, finish your Burger King, roll down your window, and then chuck it out the window. We don't do that here.
Right.
That's not something we do in this society. Brandon's little Russian friend, Oksana.
Right.
Apparently they don't have those rules over in Russia.
Oh, no, Russia, it's a free-for-all.
They're just driving down the road. He's with her. She's sitting in the passenger seat. She rolls down the window and just chucks a whole bunch of garbage out the window. And he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, what's the big deal? I guess when you have tanks rolling through your playground, you don't spend a lot of time talking about, the environment in class there. You don't really get into that stuff. They've got, you're taking a class on how to dodge bullets, not, hey, give a hoot, don't pollute. That's not really something that they're doing over there. Let's see. So I said, hey, that's not cool, throwing your garbage out the window. And all of a sudden, I was being attacked. 2 women jumped out of the car in front of her. She was right in my window, just punching me in the face, pulling my hair, Shannon said. She started biting on my hands so severely, I thought she was going to bite them off. Then a man jumped out of the car and threw a soda through her window. He said, "This is for you, you white bitch. This is grape soda." And then they took off. The attack happened in plain view of a rooftop security camera, but Denver police told Shannon the actual beating wasn't caught on tape. Investigators won't release the security video, calling this an open investigation. McDonald's management has had no comment, but say it is cooperating with police. If they can do that, they can snap and do something else. Something even worse, said Shannon. Shannon hopes police find whoever beat her up before they do it again. I don't want anybody else to get hurt like this, Shannon said. The description of the suspects, 2 black women, 1 black man, is vague. The best clue police have to go with right now is they were driving a light blue Cadillac with temporary tags. All right, so there you have it. Now,
Well, way to go with the description. 2 black people in a Cadillac.
aren't these people just scum? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, they might be black, but they're scum. They're black scum, just as there is white scum and Mexican scum and Italian scum.
I like to think that we all, each individual race has their own part of their race that they hate. And I'm hoping that this is the part of the black race that they're like, oh, God, why are they out there making the news again?
Here's the problem with bad people, okay? You've got good people in society and bad people in society. Good people typically will never go to jail, but they have this thing hanging over them their entire life. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to do it. If I do this, I'll go to jail. I know I want to punch this total stranger right in the face for looking at me funny, but if I do that, I'm going to go to jail, and I don't want to go to jail. That's what good people have. But bad people maybe have already been to jail multiple times, and they know it's not the end of the world. They know that it's just going to be like 48 hours, 72 hours in an orange jumpsuit, and then they'll get out and they'll be right back to whatever craziness they do. They're not afraid of that.
If you ever hear the words, "I've been to jail and I'm not afraid to go back," run from whatever area you're in.
You don't want to be with that guy. That guy is not. Yeah, but that's how, see, the very idea to a good person in society that you would see somebody throw garbage out the window, comment, "Hey, that's not cool," and then that person would jump out and beat you up. To a good person, that's insane. Because the person jumping out is risking going to jail, and a good person wouldn't risk going to jail on something like that. But people who have already been to jail, who are already criminals, who are the lowest scum in society, and these people are the lowest scum in society, they're not afraid. And these people are out there. And this is why you don't flip people off in traffic. This is why you don't smart off to strangers in line somewhere. Because these people are out there. Good people have to, they are.
Yeah.
I don't go picking fights with strangers, because especially in states that have concealed carry licenses, you got crazy people who are armed. And I'm sorry, just because you passed whatever it is you need to pass to get your controlled or your concealed carry license doesn't mean that you're not capable of snapping. I mean, you're a guy who's going out with a gun, so you're already ready for anything.
Right, that says something about your mental stability already. Most people don't need guns to get around through their day.
No, that's why you don't smart off to people. Now, these people didn't have guns. They were in Colorado. They were just thugs. They were just low-class scum thugs who will get picked up for this, and they will go to jail for 72 hours, and that'll be that. And that'll be it.
And what does suck about this is that I was right there with them when they were like, "Hey, that's not cool." Cool. I'm right there with you. Like, if that had been the end of the story, that would have been like kind of a nice feel-good story. But then to jump out and then...
I know.
Yeah, that's the part that, obviously...
I don't know if I saw someone doing something so antisocial as just throwing out a big bag of garbage right into the parking lot. Not even try to put it in the garbage. Don't put it in your backseat. Just tossing it right in the parking lot. If I saw someone do that, I don't think I would say anything to them, because I would think, these people aren't working with a full deck of cards. These people are capable of that is such an antisocial act in today's society that it's just a precursor to what they're capable of.
Yeah, I don't know. It aggravates me so much that I'll be that guy. But I'll make sure that I'm able to drive off very quickly if I need to. I'll say it in passing. I'll roll down the window, "Hey," then roll up the window and go.
All right, and then they follow you.
Yeah. hey, as long as I'm able to lose them,
I don't
I'm
need
fine.
that. I don't need this I don't need this aggravation.
I feel like I'm doing it for society, though.
Okay.
I feel like I've done something, even if I am spending the next hour of my life running for my life.
Yeah, I don't want to. Look, we live in a world. Just mind your own damn business. Mind you, there are bad people out there. They're gonna do bad things. I don't want to go
You're
all.
just gonna ignore them all.
Just gonna ignore them all. I'm not gonna get all George Zimmerman on anybody. I'm not gonna get
No,
involved.
I'm not saying that I'm tracking people down on a daily basis. I'm just saying that if I happen to run into somebody who's being an ass on society, I will mention it as long as I have a getaway plan. As long as I'm able to get out of there.
All right. If you've concluded that it's limited potential blowback on you,
Yeah.
you will get involved.
Yeah, but I'm certainly not tracking people down and looking for a fight. That's where I don't
Here's the other
understand.
thing. How about you just get out of your car and pick it up and put it in the trash?
Yeah.
How about just that? No, those people are obviously a lost cause if they think that that's the appropriate way to behave in public. Just do it.
Yeah.
Get out, even make a show of it. They'll see. Although then it's like, that's it. You pick up my gun. It's like,
Yeah, it'll be
now
that.
you're mad. I'm not saying you got to be in control of your emotions here, folks. You got to constantly be working hard to do the right thing. And this is an example of maybe where those sort of tests become tests. You get tested in life.
Yeah, and I guess the only reason why I am stopping to just say something is because I'm holding back from throwing my grape soda at them.
I know.
That's what
It's
I
like you want as a human, you're outraged that someone could be so. And this isn't this isn't the guy who stabbed the lady in the parking lot or in the Target down the street. That's crazy. This is a lesser crime, but it's an indicator of what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Which is what would make me go, okay, these people are obviously not the same as me. These people are not. We're not going to get into a spirited debate about whether or not you should you throw your garbage out. What's going to happen is they're going to shiv me, or I'm going to get jumped. These people don't care about the ramifications of their actions. They don't care. They've probably been to jail before. Not a big deal. An inconvenience, sure, but not a big deal.
Yeah, they're just on a short holiday from jail right now.
Right. They're
That's all
probably
this is.
on parole anyway or whatever. They
Yeah.
don't care. They're not afraid to go back. I'm afraid to go back. That whole attitude. Oh, jeez, you're right. You hear somebody say that.
Just clear the room.
Yeah. Kill them or get out of there. That's it. Those are your two options. When someone says, I'm not afraid to go to jail, you must kill them or get the hell out of there as soon as possible.
That means you've instantly become a survivalist.
Yeah. 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 All right, let's talk about TV. Let's get into a little bit of a watch list for tonight. It's Wednesday night, last night on American Idol, my show. We had the finalists perform. Jessica Sanchez and Phil Phillips both performed. Tonight, the winner will be announced live. That's on Fox TV at 7 o'clock tonight. Also, I guess we had a winner in Dancing with the Stars. Donald Driver.
Oh, okay.
Donald Driver, football player.
Old Packers
Yep.
wide receiver.
He won, and this is like this is a thing now. Apparently, athletes are winning Dancing with the Stars, and it's funny because I hear like dance enthusiasts. They're like, well, yes. I mean, you have to be very athletic. You have to be very athletic to do this kind of dancing. So it would stand to reason that a professional athlete would be able to do it. If I was a dancer, I would take the other approach. I would be upset. Because you know what, you dancers? You can't catch 21 touchdowns in a season, but this guy can come in and do what you do and do it really well. So I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like the athletes are going, yeah, this dancing thing is easy. This is, if you've got the skill set that I got, this is easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's really good, but who cares? I can do that. It's almost insulting that
bet,
these
yeah.
athletes come in and dominate because they're obviously so good at the skills it takes to be a good dancer.
Now, I know Emmett Smith was on there, and I would imagine that Donald Driver
Emmett won.
had
Emmett
to-
won.
Oh, he won.
Emmett won. And I believe Lawrence Taylor was on. I don't know if Lawrence Taylor won, but we'd probably pull up the list of Dancing with the Stars winners, and a lot of them have been athletes.
Now, Lawrence Taylor obviously is, I guess he may have done it, but I know that when you get to that tier, especially right around college, they will get you into ballet because they want you to be very balanced. I mean, they want you to be able to tiptoe across a line. That's why you see those showman-like catches sometimes that are right there on a thing, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? That doesn't seem human. And it's because they've been doing things like ballet. And, of course, they aren't going to run around saying, oh, that touchdown came from the 6 hours of ballet I did this week. But they are doing it. They're learning a little bit about the different techniques that you learn in that. So it kind of stands to reason that they would do well.
Yeah, who was? I think wasn't it Herschel Walker who was a big ballet guy, and so and he said that he trained ballet because it made him better.
Yeah, I know that Emmitt Smith did too. When I was a kid, I went to Emmitt Smith football camp when I was really small, and that was the first thing that he talked to us about.
All right, here's what we got. Here have been the winners, okay? In 2006, Drew Lachey and Cheryl Burke won, but second place went to Jerry Rice. The next year, Emmitt Smith won. The next year, Apollo Anton Ono won, another athlete, Olympic speed skater. Then the next year, Helio Castroneves won. Athlete, I guess. He's a car racer. But still, he's a sports figure. Let's see here. Oh, the next year, Christy Yamaguchi won. Another athlete. Look at these are all athletes. Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Apollo Ono, Helio Castroneves, Christy Yamaguchi, Derek Huff, and Brooke Burke won the next year. I don't know what that is. Sean Johnson and Mark Ballas. I don't know who they are. They won. Donnie Osmond won. Nicole Scherzinger won. Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls won. That's unfair because she's already a professional dancer. That's what the Pussycat Dolls are.
Right.
They're a dance and singing troupe, and it's not fair. You are a professional dancer, and you won. Oh, good for you. You've been dancing since you were 10.
Yeah. Hey, Lawrence Taylor, here's Ricky Martin, your contender in dancing.
Dude, look at this. 2011, Hines Ward won.
Oh.
Hines Ward won, and now this year, Donald Driver. So here are the big-name athletes who have won Dancing with the Stars. Donald Driver, Hines Ward, Apollo Ono, Christy Yamaguchi, Emmitt Smith, and Jerry Rice took second place.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, the athletes dominate.
I guess it does kind of stand to reason, though, when they're going up against people like the girl from, what's it called, the news, headline news.
Nancy Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jason Taylor took second place in 2008. Miami Dolphins, great. Try to see if there's any other football players or any other athletes that placed well. They're only giving you the first, second, and third place.
But if you do notice, every single one of those players that are mentioned as winners in here, they're all people that you saw that were incredibly graceful in their positions. Every single last one of them were just unbelievable. So if I were to have to look at all the people, I would say that those people definitely had a good shot at the very beginning.
But I just think if I was a professional dancer, I wouldn't be as, we've got something in common with athletes. No, you have the thing that you work really hard at and are really good at, they could be really good at and just as good as you in like 6 weeks. That's not really a compliment because in 6 weeks, you wouldn't learn how to be a professional wide receiver in the NFL. You couldn't do that.
No.
But they can do the thing that you work so hard at, they can do it real easily. It's not a big deal.
I want that reality show so bad.
What's that?
Dancers trying out for football, and they just they have to go out there on Sunday and boom, just get nailed off the side of the field.
It wouldn't work. All right. So tonight, American Idol at 7:00 on Fox is going to be giving away their trophy to the winner. I think it's going to be Phil Phillips, but we will see. Also, there is this new show that I just don't get. I've never watched it. I don't understand. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a sitcom. I don't know if it's like a hidden camera show. This Betty White Off Their Rockers.
I don't know.
Have you seen this?
Nuh-uh.
It's been on for months now, and it's on NBC, and it's on at 7:00 tonight. I have no. It's like Punk'd, but with Betty White.
All right.
Here's the description for episode 11. Actor Rob Schneider plays Betty Shrink. Pranks include a man trying to recruit another for a bromance, offering free back rubs to passersby, and trying too hard to prevent littering. As we learned from an earlier story, you don't want to try too hard to prevent littering because you could get beat up and a grape soda thrown in your face.
Let that be a lesson to Betty White.
I don't get this whole Betty White phenomena. I
Yeah.
think she's a perfectly charming old lady, but I don't understand why has she had this miraculous career resurgence?
I think
Is she our token old lady?
think
We
that's what
always
it
have a
is.
token old. Jessica Tandy used to
Yeah.
be the token old lady,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ruth Gordon was the token old lady. And when I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like Betty White. She's the token only one. We only make one old lady a celebrity, and
Yeah.
it's Betty White.
Well, I mean, it's just like Chris Rock said. I mean, sometimes you only need one, and if you're the second,
Yeah. But B. Arthur is still alive, isn't she? I mean, aren't there other old lady actors still alive?
yeah. I mean, but she does seem
Maybe B. Arthur
especially
isn't.
mobile.
I think B. Arthur's dead.
Oh,
Now that
is
I
she?
think about it, I think so.
Okay.
Do you know who she is?
No.
No. But
No.
yeah, but I love how you played along like you
Sounds
did.
like- yeah. Well, this is what I do usually with celebrity names.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All
I mean,
right.
like, if they're like, "Oh, you know about that?" Yeah, of course I do.
Let's see. What else do we have tonight? Any good pick to click here? ABC. All the good ABC shows are. Oh no! Wait a second. It's a new Modern Family. So we've got a series finale, or not series, but the season finale of Modern Family. Definitely got to watch that. And also the series or season finale of Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. I love that show. That's a funny show.
Still good?
You seen that yet?
Nuh-uh.
I'm 2 episodes behind, but the first 2 that I've seen I liked.
Okay.
I like James Vanderbeek
I do too.
as an exaggerated James Vanderbeek.
That's one of those shows that I've kind of had in the back of my head is once the season's over, I'll go ahead and get it and breeze through it real quick.
Yeah, check out an episode or 2. I mean, I'm not saying that it's the greatest thing that's ever been on, but it's all right. You know, it's not bad. Let's see. What else do we have here? It's Wednesday night. There's not really much that I watch on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I feel like the Big Bang Theory, TBS does their Big Bang Theory marathon on Tuesday nights, or Wednesday nights, I should say.
Those are like the rerun episodes though, right?
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're the syndicated episodes, but yeah, who knows? Let's see here. Anything good that I'm leaving out here? No, not really. Jesus, you know what? I swear to God, I used to love A&E in the History Channel. I used to love those 2 channels.
Yeah.
When A&E used to have biographies and, cool documentaries,
Yeah.
and the History Channel would, teach you about, Columbus and the Middle Ages and, all that stuff.
But mainly about Germany.
But mainly about Germany and World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I miss those days.
Here's what history. This is a History Channel. Why are they called the History Channel? Cajun Pawn Stars. What the hell? Cajun Pawn Stars? So, Cajun... I hate TV. I just hate how TV is so derivative of everything else, and they just rip everything off with no shame. Well, Cajuns are popular on other channels' reality shows, and pawn shops are... What if we filmed a pawn shop in Louisiana and called it Cajun Pawn Stars? Let's give them 13 episodes.
Well, you know what happened is that that's one of those shows that all my friends, because I come from Louisville, which is about as country as one of like the metroplex cities are able to pull off. So I got a lot
Well,
of
you're the Louisville Farmers.
Yeah.
That's your high school team.
Yeah, exactly. So like a lot of my friends stayed to it. They abided by that, and they love Pawn Stars, and they're all a little bit country sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're just trying to they realize that they got a country audience that isn't all that wrapped up in actual historical things.
Well, but this is how the History Channel might justify the show Pawn Stars. Now, I don't know what Cajun Pawn Stars is, but I know what Pawn Stars is. And I do watch Pawn Stars from time to time. It's a perfectly acceptable show. I just wish it wasn't on History. I wish there was another option on History
Right.
if I was in the mood to see something that was interesting. But what they do on Pawn Stars, which does play into the history part of it, is people bring in things and they go over the history of things. Like someone might try and pawn a Civil War sword, and then they'll bring in an expert and they'll do like a segment where they talk about the Civil War and how they use these and how they were made and for what purpose they were used. So that's
But
semi-interesting. It's dumbed down history to
because
be sure, but
nobody's watching it for that. Most of the time during that show, they're thinking, I think he can get 100. I think he can get 100 for that.
that's true. Nobody's really paying attention.
Yeah.
Nobody's learning the history. Nobody's actually paying attention to why this particular blade was effective. And they don't care about that. It's everything on TV is so bad. I was talking about the way everything is so derivative. The Voice on NBC. Okay, this is it's a domino thing. The Voice is obviously a derivation of American Idol, the singing contest. It's the same damn thing. But what was the new wrinkle that The Voice added? The swivel chairs, where the people perform and the judges have their backs to them. And when the judges like what they hear, they hit the button and the swivel chair turns around. So the performer's goal is to get the judges to turn their chairs around. I thought that was a pretty interesting innovation. I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. Is he going to turn around? Because, of course, all the judges like CeeLo, they'll hover over the button. You'll be like, oh, he's going to hit it. He's going to hit it. And then they hit it, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting derivation or an interesting innovation on a show that is derived directly from American Idol. Fox, now, that's an NBC show. Fox has a new show, a dating show, where girls come out on stage and describe themselves, and the judges are in swivel chairs. And when the judge is interested in hearing the description, they hit the button just like on The Voice, and the chair turns around. And I'm watching this commercial on Fox, and I'm screaming, going, isn't there some intellectual property that The Voice has, that was their innovation, that you just can't take things that... I mean, it used to be that you would steal from people, but you would have a little bit of a conscience about stealing. Now it's just, oh, we're going to do exactly that with no shame at all that people are thinking that you lack creative integrity. There is no integrity at all in a show that just lifts the swivel chair from The Voice and puts it on their own network. It's ridiculous. It's maddening. Where is the creation? Where is the innovation? Who is taking it to the next level? It's just really stupid.
It's one of the main, because even if I find a good show to watch on TV, I'm going to be inundated with commercials from shows that remind me, don't watch too much, don't get comfortable, because you are going to end up watching a lot more of these things that are just kind of regurgitated messes.
Oh, they are.
And like if I wish that it would almost abide by like the technology way of doing things. Like, have you ever seen like Apple take an entire swing at HTC and say, all of those, we got the patent for it. You can't do that. Like, don't even try shipping those things in because we know you've ripped off our idea. And they do it. Like, all of a sudden, like, a whole bunch of devices aren't allowed into America because of that. We should almost have the same thing. Like, get creative. Like, if we have swivel chairs, now
Right.
we get swivel chairs.
Well, it was like a Fox programming executive who was brainstorming on summer replacement shows. Went, you know what's really cool? Those swivel chairs. How do we get a show where we just have swivel chairs? Like, they came up with the swivel chair first. They stole the swivel chair from The Voice and then sort of in reverse order created a show. All right, why are they turning around? Well, we can't do singing because how about comedy? How we have stand-up comics if they like. No, how about it? They're all trying to get a date. What if it's like a dating game? Oh, I like that. And we can get the kids from Jersey Shore because Vinny or whatever from Jersey Shore is one of the judges. But it's like...
Oh, my God.
It's like you started out stealing the idea of the swivel chair and then built the entire show around what you stole. There's no integrity there.
Well, they weren't looking for integrity. They got Vinny from the Jersey Shore.
Right, yeah.
So,
And then two other celebrity bachelors who I didn't know who they were. Had no idea.
I give up. I honestly do.
Don't know who they are.
That's why I like torrenting things so often, is because you don't get the commercials. You don't have to be reminded that people that are watching this are also watching Vinny on swivel chairs. You know, like you watch what you wanted to and you're done. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, well, that's how it's going to happen. You know, all these cable channels are now having their, for instance, ESPN just rolled out watchespn.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is?
No.
You know, when like, let's say your cable's out or something, or let's say you decide to get rid of your cable, you decide to get rid of your TV. Sure, you can watch things on YouTube, or you can watch things in the way that you do it. You can go to Hulu. There are plenty of... But it's not the same as watching live TV. For instance, I would love to have a watchcnn.com. Right now there's Watch ESPN, but like say you're out and a big news story is breaking, something's going on, you would probably like to be able to just go on your laptop and watch what you could watch in your living room on CNN happening live. They've never really done that until recently, but ESPN is now doing that with their Watch ESPN. You just go, you click Watch ESPN, you find your cable provider, you click on that, and then it comes up.
Yeah, you find out very quickly because I've gone without cable. I mean, like Sam and I share a place, but like I don't ever watch that. But I've gone without cable since I moved out, essentially. I had it for like 18, 19, 20, and then I got rid of it. And you find out very quickly that the only time that you need live TV, you really need it, is for news and for sports.
Yeah.
It's the only time.
That's
everything
it.
else.
You're absolutely right. Everything else is available in numerous other ways.
Yeah, so I mean, like, really, as long as ESPN and CNN get their things together, then you're good.
Yeah, that's it. All right, there you go. That's the watch list for tonight. I'd also like to mention, we talked about it yesterday, the show on A&E, Duck Dynasty, about the hillbillies in Louisiana who invented the duck calls.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's new Duck Dynasties, 2 new Duck Dynasties tonight on A&E at 9 and 9:30. Let's see. The Willie stay or Willie go? Let's read the descriptions. Here we go. Duck Dynasty, the first episode. Jace and C stalk wild game for the annual family cook-off. Phil visits the company warehouse only to learn quite a few things have changed. See, do you know what these guys are? This is a family that invented the duck calls. Wah, wah, you know, these things. And they're like very wealthy now. But they still live in like the backwoods of Louisiana, and they still look like... Yeah. You know what I mean? They got long hair and beards, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And so it's, I guess they're a nice family. I don't understand people love this show, and I don't understand what it is.
My friends introduced it to me this past weekend. They were like, oh, you got to see this. This is going to be the greatest ever. And it was that.
But it wasn't the greatest ever, right? It was just kind of like every other piece of, you know.
Yeah.
But it's strange that people have taken to this show.
I know.
People love this show, and I've tried to watch. I've watched multiple episodes, and I just don't get it.
Well, you
what
know what
makes
it
it
is?
so special?
I think that these history channels and all these other channels have found out very, very well that the country people like to sit around and watch TV. They will put in more hours than anybody else. And so they can put on more programming that really go for that audience, and they will get people to tune in.
It's almost like they've given up on thinking people with television. It's like they have decided that, you know, the less engaged among us are the ones that watch the most TV. So they're going to just cater to those people with nonsense. And look, TV is supposed to be entertaining. There is supposed to be nonsense entertainment. I mean, I like Tosh.0. That's pretty nonsense, but it's entertaining. It's just pure entertainment. It's sugar. It's saccharine. But you can't just live on a diet of that alone.
Yeah, it's just turning into everything's deal or no deal.
Yeah. Last night on Kira, I watched a documentary about how the Western Hemisphere has dominated the world for the last 1,000 years, and it actually went through in a documentary form what the West was doing that the Eastern world wasn't doing that allowed for the first thing, the number one thing on the list was exploration. That it was the West who got in boats and went to these other places and influenced these societies with their way of life. They didn't come, I mean, London in 1750 or whatever didn't suddenly have a bunch of boats from China show up with guys.
Right.
No, it was the West who did the exploration. Very interesting, and I was fascinated by it. It was 2 hours long, and I watched the whole thing, and it probably felt like it was 20 minutes, and I was like, that's it, it's over. I wanted more. It was great. It was high-end television. I learned something, and I was fascinated with the process of learning something. But it was on Kira, public television.
And meanwhile, on History Channel, they were probably showing a piece of wood from one of those original boats.
They were showing hillbillies rolling logs in Louisiana. That's what was on the History Channel. TV. There is enough out there. If you really pick and choose, you can find good stuff. But the overwhelming choices is all this sort of low-hanging fruit of television. I just don't know what to make of it. All right, that's going to be it for the show today. That's the watch list. We'll be back tomorrow with another full show. You can check out the podcast. We'll be up shortly. Also, check us out on YouTube. I'll post the YouTube, what do we call that? The YouTube video of today's show. Put that up on Facebook as soon as we can get it available. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Jimmy Ryan, anything in closing?
No, that's just about it.
All right, that's it. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com.